This week on the Steam Machine podcast, hey, I got a phobia. And the only thing that's going to fix it is more Phasmo. Cue the music! Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Steam Machine podcast. My name is Dalton, and joining me as always, the Destructober.
Hey everybody, it's Nate.
Yo, what's up? It's Willie. Good evening, or morning, or whatever asynchronous time it is in your portion of the universe. Portion of the universe.
Yeah, you know, the porcelain of you out there. And
you're a real doll.
We have a guest this week. Hailing from one TADPOG, or as Jeff called him, a famous person. Which he would probably argue. Dave from TADPOG. Dave, what's up, man?
Hello. Not much. Glad to be here. Thanks for having me on. I'm excited. I'm excited to talk about Phasmophobia, and I like this show, and I like you guys. So it's just nice to be here.
Hey, Dave likes
I appreciate that you ported the Mrs. Doubtfire hello into our show. That makes it
Dude, okay. It's Mrs. Doubtfire you guys have been doing. For the whole time I've been listening and you guys have been doing that on TADPOG, I thought you were doing Seinfeld. Hello.
Yeah. Here's what's great about it, to be perfectly honest. When we do it on the show, I know that Ian doesn't know that I'm doing the Seinfeld hello. But I haven't told him, and it's fine because it's essentially the same in my mind. I'm sure if I played them like side by side, I'd be like, oh yeah, that's incredibly different. But in my memory palace, it's the same.
Well, he will never know because he will not listen to this.
The best part about it is like, what made me originally just like love it when you guys started doing that is that when my sister calls me or calls my dad, that's how, hello.
Nice.
Every time, because we all love Seinfeld in our family. Oh, man.
Nobody's perfect.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You don't like Seinfeld. I forgot about that. So, boys, what you been up to this week? Let's start with Willie this time. Willie, what you been up to this week, my brother?
Well, I didn't want to start talking about it too early, but I have been messing with the Godot engine since we've been talking about the whole Unity snafu. And, you know, I haven't done much with it yet, but I got a little hello rolled type thing open today. So, well, you know, we'll see where it goes. The one thing that's really weirded me out is, like, they really want you to use their, it can natively run C#, C++, or their own native thing called GD script. And GD script is like, it's so much like JavaScript, and I hate JavaScript because of the type conversion. And so I was like reading the articles, and they're like, yeah, just try GD script, you might like it, you know, give it 3 days. And so I'm going to give it 3 days, but then I'm like, so why do you think I should use it? And one of the reasons they're like is, well, it doesn't have defined types. Instead, you can, you know, I'm like, no! I really hate type conversion. That's what every JavaScript problem in the universe comes from.
Why is that?
Basically, it's just anything you think it might do logically. Okay, so, like, say, the thing is, it tries to coerce things into whatever type it thinks makes the most sense for the thing, instead of just failing with an error. Part of the idea, the theory behind JavaScript is instead of, it's for websites, so they shouldn't crash with an error. They should just try to do what they can do. And so, like, say you wanted to add the string, like the letter, like literally like a 1, like written down 1, like the number 1 but in quotes, and you wanted to add that to the number 1. Most computer programming languages will tell you, fuck off, you can't add a string to a number, that's stupid. JavaScript will add the 1 to the 1, coerce the 1 into a string, and give you 11. Because it's the string 1 plus the string 1 equals 1, 1. It gives you 11. But then if you type the string 1 minus the number 1, it'll coerce it the other way around, coerce the string 1 into the number 1 and give you 0. So you have to memorize every stupid, weird way it fucks up your types, or else it will give you exceptions you don't know, and it won't fail with an error. It'll just give you the wrong answer, and you won't know where the wrong answer is coming from, because it won't just say error in line 292. It'll give you the wrong answer and just keep on chugging.
Oh, God.
Yeah, that's rough.
Oh, dude, that would annoy me. And you don't want to use Unreal?
I mean, at least Unreal uses C++, and I mean, Godot also has C++ as like one of its main options. Like, I think it's natively coded in C++. So, I don't know. I'm going to look into it and see what it does. Like, so far I like what I'm seeing, but, and again, I'm going to give GDScript a try, but if it pisses me off, I'm going to switch to a adult programming language.
and by,
Sounds sexy.
Does. Adult programming language.
C++ more like R++.
RXX.
All right, good.
Where's the third X? Take your pants off and find out.
It's short for xylophone.
He just pulls a xylophone out of his pants.
It's a sexy xylophone.
Yeah.
And by a hello world type thing, you mean Nate sucks, right?
I actually made it say hello world. I should have
The
put
one
Nate
coding
sucks
thing I ever did was Nate sucks. And I was so proud
Yep.
of
So
it.
rude.
in Python.
Oh, man. Dave, what you been up to this week, man?
I've been slowly watching the movie Cliffhanger. It's been a project. I've been taking it in like 30-minute increments.
How long is that movie?
It's about 2 hours. So I'm 75% through the movie. I've heard the best way to watch Cliffhanger is to treat it like you're reading a book. And then just go chapter by chapter. So far, so good.
So does each of those chapters end on a cliffhanger?
Oh, damn, that's so good. I'd never seen the movie before, and it's this fucking wild. I didn't expect it to be like as wild as it is. I know this isn't a cliffhanger podcast or anything, but I'm just blown away by some of like the Jason-esque kills that Sylvester Stallone does to dudes in that movie.
Maybe I don't know what Cliffhanger is, because that sounds kind of awesome, actually.
Man, I don't want to spoil Cliffhanger. I can't spoil it because I'm only 75% through it. However, there's a scene in Cliffhanger where Sylvester Stallone, like, he's like fighting a guy in a cave, and the dude's kicking the shit out of him, and he's got a knife, and he's all like, threatening him, and Sylvester Stallone like grabs him by the nuts and by the neck, and then lifts him like he does like a shoulder press, and he presses him. He impales him with a stalactite.
What?
That's awesome.
Yeah, dude, it's fucking nuts. It is crazy. So that's where I left off. Just that's about 75% through the movie. In case you're curious.
You just decided to watch this Mortal Kombat fatality, and you're like, you know what? It's time to hang it up for the day.
Yep.
Is that Rambo era Stallone?
That's later. I think it came out in, like, if I had to guess, I think 95.
Okay. See, I'm sitting here thinking, like, in my head, I was imagining like this was a recent movie, so it was just old man Stallone doing all this. I'm like, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Man, old man Stallone is still pretty jacked.
That's true.
Yeah.
So other than that, I've just been playing Super Mario Brothers Wonder, which is why I've been watching Cliffhanger in increments. It's because I've just hard to pull myself away from that game.
I'm glad you finished that sentence, because I was like, how in the world would Mario inspire you to watch Cliffhanger? Okay. I got it. Word up, my good sir. What about you, Nate? What you been up to?
Yeah, so last week it was the big talking about Sonic Superstars, which is I really enjoyed. I think I've completed everything in that game now, except for the time trials, which I'm not super interested in going back to. But there were 3 stories in the game, which I didn't know there were more than one, so that was a nice surprise for me. And so I think I finished the game 100% on all 3 stories now, and really good game. And then since then, I also picked up Super Mario Wonder. So something I didn't realize when I got it, because I went to Target the day after it came out just to buy a copy. I didn't pre-order it or anything, because like I know I showed you guys my pre-order gift for Sonic Superstars, which is this little sand thing. It's pretty cool.
Man, are you about to tell me you got the cards? Did you get cards with it?
I got the Shadow Box.
What? I didn't know that existed.
Yeah, apparently this was a Target exclusive. This was the last one they had. They were like, I didn't know this was a thing, so I go up to the register and I was like, just going to pay for Mario Wonder, and the guy at the register was like, hey, I think that comes with a free gift. Let me go to customer service real quick and look. So it was really slow at Target for some reason. And then like he came back with the Shadow Box, like, yeah, this comes free with it. It's the last one. Here you go, man. I'm like, awesome.
Dude, that's rad.
So like now I have a piece of new Sonic memorabilia and a piece of Super Mario memorabilia, which is pretty sweet.
It's the 90s all over again.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, right.
You should make them fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so, but I also have been playing a lot of Super Mario Wonder. It's a really fun game. Like, I think I've 100%ed all the worlds that I've done so far, because I'm going to 100% this game too, because I can't not. But I really like the new animation style they went with in this game. It's really a really nice change of pace from the new Super Mario Brothers U style. Like, I'm really enjoying that a lot. I think I've done the first 3 worlds to 100%, and then like it opens up a little bit. It lets you choose between the 4th, 5th, and 6th world after that, and so I went to straight to the 6th world because I wanted the harder levels.
Damn.
Glutton for punishment.
Not me.
Yeah, and I have 100%ed the 6th world too, so I'm going to the 5th world next.
Nice.
And I'm really enjoying it. I don't know, like, Dave, I know you've been playing it too. Have you found you like the new power-ups and stuff like that the game has?
Dude, I love it. And it's like the new power-ups are fucking wild, because it's like I'm playing the game and it's like, I'll be honest with you, dude. I didn't play like any of the new Super Mario Brothers. So I don't really honestly know what's new, but like there's that drill hat.
Yeah.
And that is like, so I got it immediately. I'm like, oh, this is the crab from Little Nemo, Adventures in Dreamland. And then, because that's exactly how it works.
Yeah.
And then there's the bubble power up, and it's like, oh, this is from Bubble Bobble, because it works just like the bubbles do in Bubble Bobble, where it's like you can spit the bubbles out and you can jump on them, but you can also capture enemies inside of them and then pop them. And it's like, this is pretty cool that they did this.
Yeah, and then, of course, the one from all the trailers, the elephant power-up, is super fun, too.
Oh, I'm sorry. Is there an elephant power-up? Dude, there's I love it. It's great, because it's like it's like a weird raccoon Mario almost, but instead of being able to fly, you can spray water. It's cool. I like it. But man, that's like the power up in the game. I feel like I'm constantly getting the elephant power up.
Have you messed around with any of like the easy mode characters? Because I've only played as the main cast. I can't bring myself to play as Yoshi's or Nabbit.
No, I've been honestly, I've been thinking of you, because I was like, man, I can't tell Nate that I've only been playing as Mario, because he will accuse me of being a cop.
Cop!
Damn it, Dave's a cop. I've been swapping back and forth between Luigi and Daisy mostly.
They don't have Red Toad. They fucked me over. I don't want to play as Blue Toad. Who wants that? Sorry.
Fucking game's canceled. It's over.
No. It just sounds like Dave's a Toad racist. He is a cop.
but he doesn't think Blue Toad's a matter, though, so we're kind of in the middle here.
But yeah.
Look, back in my day, it was just Red Toads, okay? I'm not a cop. I'm just old.
I mean, you say that, but in Super Mario Brothers 2, I'm pretty sure he's just blue.
I don't even want to tell you guys the last Mario. Actually, I played Odyssey, but before that, maybe Super Mario World on the Super Nintendo. It was a long gap.
Dude, it's wild, man, because I feel like Wonder picks up like right after Super Mario World. And I don't mean that in like a fucked up canonical sense or anything, but it's like the spirit of it's like the spirit of Super Mario Brothers 3 and World, and then like it just kind of is like, I don't know, man. It just feels like those games, but not in the style of it or anything. It's just fun. It's like, and it's surprising. And they're like, every level has a gimmick. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean that in like the most fun possible way, man, where it's like, oh, in this level you do this. And it's like, it gets really trippy too. And it's like trippy in a way that I didn't expect a Nintendo developed game to go, where it's like, this is trippy.
That sounds awesome, because like one of my main complaints about the new Super Mario Brothers series was that they didn't really feel like they cared that much about the level design. Like they were just kind of playgrounds to run through, but they didn't really do anything interesting level by level, you know?
Yeah, I like I said, I don't have like a lot of experience with those, but like I can say that in Wonder, it is definitely like level design is great, because every level does feel like its own distinct level, even keeping within the theme of a world. It's really nice.
Yeah, I agree. It's almost like you said, like Super Mario Brothers 3 did that really well too, where all the levels in a world felt different, but they all felt like a cohesive part of that world. And that's kind of like what Wonder does too. And the other thing that's really cool about Wonder is like the badge system. Like I don't even have all the badges yet, but like badges, we do need stinking badges.
Man, I almost said it.
I knew somebody was, so I just wanted to beat the punch. But like it gives Mario different abilities. Like there's a badge that like where he can like have that float with his cap. It's almost like taking abilities from other games and giving them to Mario. So like the float is almost like the Princess Peach float from Mario 2. There's a charge jump where if you hold duck for a few seconds, you can do a super high jump. It's like, I really feel like they took inspiration from the older games and used it in a modern way that makes it really fun. And I've been able to use some of those powers to really cheese the hell out of some of the levels too.
Yeah, man. I love that. I'm so glad you brought that up, because you're right. I mean, they do totally pull from like some of the older games. And it's also cool that like they have those badges in the game, but you can only have one badge at a time. I think that's important too, because otherwise the levels wouldn't work. You know what I mean? Because it's like you'd essentially be like Neo in the Matrix if you could equip multiple badges.
Yeah, let's picture Mario doing that. It'd be awesome.
Dodging bullet bills.
Right under it.
But yeah, man, so like I've just been
If you take the fire flower, you go back to your life, everything normal. You take the ice flower.
That's good. Yeah, so
I got the actual colors backwards, but fuck me.
But yeah, that's really about all I've been into, is just playing this new Mario game. Just got some other minor stuff going on. Kayla was out of town, so I was just lonely and playing video games, you know.
Half of that sounds great, you know.
Yeah.
It just sounds like the life.
I guess that just leaves me, eh?
Yes, sir.
We don't care what you're up to. Let's go talk about the game. I'm just kidding. Actually, you have some cool stuff to talk about. Let's go.
I have a new job.
Yeah!
Nice.
I no longer work at the hellhole known as Walgreens for Jabba the Hutt. I now work for Coca-Cola. I'm going to be a sales merchandiser. Never really done sales, but according to like what the people have told me so far, I'm basically going to go and stock stores and then tell the store owner, like, hey, you're ordering this much. Have you thought about ordering this much?
Nice.
So that, you know, it should be all right. I'm going to meet I get to meet my supervisor tomorrow. His name is Jeremy.
Yeah. The villain.
And I was like, oh. I told Jeremy that, and Jeremy just said, ha ha. And I know Jeremy's thinking in his head, oh, you better hope he's not an asshole like I am. But yeah, so that's been fun. Like I toured the Coke factory today. Apparently there are 4 bottling plants in Florida, and one of them's the one in Jacksonville. And fun fact, there's a bottling plant in Orlando. Do you know who does the Coca-Cola for like Disney World? Jacksonville.
Interesting.
Doesn't make any sense to me.
So are you going to have to drive deliveries to Orlando?
No, I am not a delivery driver, thankfully.
Okay.
But apparently, after you're there a year, you qualify to start applying up within the company. And one of the things that they'll do is they will pay for me to go to Tampa, where the headquarters are at. They actually have a Coca-Cola CDL course that they do for learning how to drive Coke trucks. And
those are trucks that run off of Coke, right?
Yeah. You pour the Coke in there, and you rev it up, and it's kind of sludgy, but it'll get through it. You know what I mean? You got to replace your gas tanks often, though. That shit just eats through it.
All right, fructose corn syrup, man.
But it's 3 weeks, all expenses paid. Like, they cover your food, they cover your room and board, and they pay for the classes for you to take it if you want to get your CDL to be a driver. The caveat is you are then basically stuck working for Coke for 3 to 5 years.
Ooh, that's a big one.
Because if you were to quit before that, you would have to pay back the classes and stuff. So I'm like, that makes sense though, because then you would have this CDL and go off and do something else. And Coke's like, well, we invested in you. See, that's actually investing in people. I don't know what the fuck that Trisha was talking about over at Walgreens, but that's for the other show. So other than that, I got to tour the facility today, like I said, and the one thing I'll say about it is the machines themselves that do the stuff, whoever was the person who came up with those, I would like to just talk to them, because I want to know how their brain works, because they are so efficient. Like the machines is just insane to me. I'm like, no wonder they replaced people. Look how this thing's doing this thing perfectly every time, over and over and over and over. And I've seen it on TV shows, like how it's made and things like that. But when I'm 2 feet away from it and I'm watching these cans that don't have any lid, like it's literally an empty can with this is not on there, and it's just full of fucking Coke, and it's just slinging through and then comes through the thing, and then boom, magically this thing's on there sealed and there's a label printed on the bottom. And I'm like, what the fuck happened? It was in there a second and a half. This thing was moving so fast, just even less than that.
I'm glad it works that way, but man, in my brain, I want to imagine the Coca-Cola factories, half Rube Goldberg, half Willy Wonka.
I felt like Willy Wonka as I was walking around. Not me personally, but I felt like I was in a Willy Wonka situation, because
you felt like Mike TV. Get out of here.
No, I think if I would have been any of the kids, and I'm not just saying this, I'd have been Charlie, because there are some people in my higher group, literally one of the dudes has fallen asleep both days in a row.
Every valid Beauregard thinks he's a Charlie.
I'm a Grandpa Joe. I'll just straight admit it.
Oh, no.
Get him.
Isn't he retroactively the villain of that movie?
Yeah, we got some questions about your sleeping situation.
You mean to tell me you've laid in bed for 30 years and haven't done shit, but now you can go meet Willy Wonka, you're going to hop up like nothing's wrong?
Doesn't that sound like the life?
I see why you chose him now. Nate's like, fuck yeah, I'll lay here. I can put my computer next to the bed. I got my Switch.
Yeah, boy.
Chilling.
He was collecting Social Security and playing Spawning Mania, and then all of a sudden he's like, oh, wait, we get to go somewhere? Field trip.
But yeah. It was an interesting day. It was like a little field trip. That's what it reminded me of, a school field trip. It was so strange, just being led around and shown everything.
Yeah.
This is the mixing room. This is where the magic happens and all that kind of shit. Other than that, I've been playing some video games, some Final Fantasy 14. Been messing around with that. Got my Paladin level 90. So
yeah, I've seen you back on that Final Fantasy 14 grind. You and Mikolov.
Yeah, it's because of Mikolov. He put the needle back.
Don't blame other people for your addictions, Dalton.
He put the needle back in my arm. He did. He was talking to me about it.
Next thing you know, you're gonna get Dave playing again.
Okay, look, I've seen the posts, and I have been so fucking tempted, but it's man, I can't do it. I can't do it, because I still pay for it. It's fucked up, man. It's I haven't played that game in 4 months, and it's every month I get the email from Square yo, we're about to charge you, and I'm like, I don't know, I might play it. Yeah. And then I don't.
I might play. Yeah, I get it, dude. I totally get it. fully was like, all right, I'll plug in and play for a month and I'll probably get tired of it. And I just haven't gotten tired of it yet. But I have been limiting myself, especially since we've been doing the weekly during October. So I'll log in, I go and get my daily scratch offs, which I got 3 10,000s in a row the other day. I was very happy with that.
He was bragging to us and we were like, oh,
Yeah,
what?
like, dude, no, listen, this doesn't ever happen. This is cool. I went to the actual lottery that they do in game at the Golden Saucer, and I took Mikolov because Mikolov had never been. And then like a bunch of the free company members also showed up, and then I also saw Grim and Zhao and T that were there as well because they're on the same server I am. And Dave, I think you're on the same server as well.
I sure am. I'm yep, I'm on well, I don't want to dox us, so never
I
mind.
got you.
They're on Azeroth.
We're on Azeroth.
Yeah.
Oh man. But yeah, it's just been fun. Like leveling up my paladin, I did it solely through PvP. For like 80, like level 83 up until 90. I just been logging in every day, getting my scratch offs, doing the daily PvP roulette because it's like a big half a bar chunk of experience.
You get so much from doing that daily PvP, man.
It's so good.
You don't even have to be good at it.
You do,
because
no.
I'm not, and I leveled like several classes that way. Where it's like I'll just go here and die a bunch, and then get half a level.
Yeah, and you.
That's very encouraging though, because I would not do PvP in MMOs if I didn't have a big reward for it. Because I'm shy.
The half a level is from losing too. Like if your team wins,
yeah,
you might
that's
get a whole
awesome.
fucking level out of it. Like it's just an insane amount of experience. And I've also been dabbling in. Is it called Crystalline Conflict? It's the 5-on-5 PvP. Crystalline Conflict. That's fun too, but that's just a bunch of people beating up on each other trying to move. My goodness. Excuse me.
Wow, bless you. Son.
Bless you.
I'm starting to sneeze like my grandpa, and I fucking hate it. When I sneeze, when my grandpa sneezes, he's like, "Alecha," and I'm like, no. I'm like,
I swear our dad just intentionally cusses when he sneezes, because whenever he sneezes, I swear it just goes, "Oh shit."
Yep.
I think dads just want to let you know they're sneezing. Like I feel like with my dad, it's like a release valve almost, where it's like, oh, I get to shout and no one can get mad at me.
So what's your go-to, since I know you have that big dad sneeze energy now? Massive dad sneezes?
So now that I've come online and I realize the dad sneeze, I try to downplay it. I try to be a conscientious sneezer in the house.
He's lying. He Phasmo DOS all the plates off the damn table.
Funny, I was gonna sit here and say like I don't sneeze like a dad because I'm not a dad, but in the same vein, literally tonight, Brandy and Daphne came by, and Brandy had asked Daphne to walk out back real quick to go look for the kitty because she wanted to tell my parents about how Daphne has started going, fuck it. She's 5, for those of you who don't know, and apparently she learned it at school. So she gets frustrated because I was at their house one time and she was on her tablet and she got frustrated. She was sitting right next to me, cuddled up next to me, and she just goes, fuck it. And I looked at her and went, what'd you say? And she just looked at me and then went back to doing what she was doing. So I was like, okay, maybe she didn't say what I didn't think she said. So then I didn't mention it to Brandy. So then Brandy tells me one day, so have you heard Daphne say fuck it yet? And I went, as a matter of fact, I did. And you didn't tell me? I wasn't sure if that's what she said. Now I have confirmation. It's exactly what she said. So anyways, sends her out back, and I open the back door to go because I can hear her talking. And I open the door and she's standing there and she looks like she's about to cry. And I'm like, what's wrong? She's like, I'm scared of the dark. I don't like the dark. I was like, oh, so I had to like go and pick her up. And like I picked her up and I'm holding her and she like tucks herself into me. And I'm like, it's okay, sweetie. I will protect you and I will never let anything hurt you as long as I'm around. I promise. I love you. And I gave her a little kiss on the head. So like, I have my dad-esque moments, you know?
Yeah, man. Well, based on that sneeze, I mean, you're like a prime candidate.
And I even like, Brandy's made fun of me before. Not that, like, again, like that, again, that's a conversation for a different podcast, but like, I don't think it'll ever happen between me and her, but even still, she makes fun of me because like sometimes I get off the couch and I'm like, ugh.
That's just getting old. That's not a dad thing.
What was it?
If you have to double clutch getting off the couch, though, that's a dad.
There you go.
Letterkenny. When Squirrely Dan goes to get up and he's like, ugh, and they're like, whoa there, Pops. Hey, Dad, can you get me a beer from the cooler? He's like, what are you talking about? They're like, you're making dad noises. There, Grandpa. It's like, shout out to Letterkenny. If you have not watched that show, high recommend. But speaking of some shows that I did want to bring up, I've been watching some anime. I've been on a kick of watching anime. I watched another couple episodes of Harem in the Labyrinth to Another World, or no, Harem in a Labyrinth of Another World, which is exactly what it sounds like, and I am not ashamed. It is
sounds sexy.
It is a ridiculously violent show. So this dude gets sucked into a video game. It's an isekai, and he doesn't realize it at first. So he's just like, or he thinks he's sucked into a game and he's in the real world. I don't know exactly how it works, but like he's in this other world, and he walks up to this dude and slashes him and just straight like guts the dude, just and blood goes everywhere. And he's like, huh, these enemies aren't very tough around here. I hope this game has more of a challenge. And he's just like slaughtering people because he thinks he's in this game, but really he's been transported to this world. But yeah, he ends up meeting a bunch of chicks. They all have big titties. They show him. It's that kind of show. But it's not subbed, or I mean, excuse me, it's not dubbed. So I have to like pay attention when I'm watching it. So the ones that I've been watching here lately have been dubbed, even though I prefer subtitles. But I've been playing video games while also doing the anime thing. So dub I can listen to and then look if I, feel interested. I watched Konosuba. Hilarious. Hilarious. There's a second season and there's an OVA. I haven't gotten to those yet, but the first season, high recommend from me. Kind of makes fun of shows like isekai stuff, kind of stuff, because he gets sucked into the world with a goddess who is worthless. I mean, she's a great character, but she's worthless. She's
that's like literally what they call her, right? Like Aqua, the useless goddess, or something like that.
She's like what's her face from Naruto level useless, Sakura. And then also, so I'm looking up, what's some disturbing animes? I've heard that there's some really disturbing animes out there.
Yeah, you talked to this when we were in game a little bit, and I don't want anything to do with this show, man.
So it's not in the way that you think. So I watched Made in Abyss season 1.
Oh yeah, that's a good show. I haven't seen all of it, but like that's a fucked up anime.
Dude, it is so good, but holy shit. Towards the end, not to spoil it, but like towards the end, there was a moment that happens where like I wasn't like crying, but like I had the tears welling up, the single tear rolling down the cheek. Like it got me emotional. Like, but so it's
did Sylvester Stallone impale the main character with the stalactite?
Yes, he grabbed the child and just slammed it through his.
No, my understanding is if that happened to a kid in Made in Abyss, it would have gone through like their leg, and then they would have writhed in pain on camera for like 10 minutes. That seems to be the kind of show it is. Like if you delight in terrible things happening to children, you'll love this one.
So it's one. There's one particular thing.
You can tell I slightly disapprove of this program.
There's one particular.
Back on Willy Wonka.
That and Willy Wonka. No, Willy Wonka. Great bad things happen to children. I love that. They have to deserve it first.
Anyway, the premise is like these two kids, they live around this big city, or they're in this giant city that's around this massive abyss. And there are people that go down and they mine for artifacts. And she gets this letter that she thinks is from her mother, and they go down into the abyss. Her and her little robot friend. And there's really only one scene like you're describing that I can think of
so far.
Well, I'm in season 1. I don't know if there might be a season 2.
I'm told the manga continues to go further and further in this direction.
Well, yeah, she gets hit in the hand with a poison thing, and it spoilers, by the way. Oh shit, Dave, you're watching this. How far into it are you? Do you know the scene I'm talking about?
No, I don't, but it's okay.
Are you sure?
Not gonna.
Okay.
Yeah.
So she gets hit in the hand with this poison thing, and it just like swells up super huge. And she's like writhing in pain from it, telling the dude or the kid, like, just cut it off. So she has him break her arm so he can then cut through it. Now, this all happens off screen. You don't see him actually break it. You just kind of see him drop the thing to do it. But you hear her just like, ah! Which is fucked, right? No.
Still
it's
not great.
at all.
Yeah, that's horror, but that's horror movie style cutaway. I get that. I'm not saying that you're a violence pervert for watching this.
So this other character comes in and ends up like being like, no, don't do that. So they go off, and this character like uses some salves and like some leeches and things like that, and actually like heals this girl's arm up, and leaves it in a sling. And then they all decide to keep going, and that's the end of the first season. And it's like, man, but like, so the way that anime did it was they spent like, there's 13 episodes, I believe, or 12 episodes. They spend like 9 episodes really getting you attached to these characters. And then they spend 3 episodes putting them through absolute hell. And I do not know if I'll watch season 2. I don't know if I can handle it. I might tap out on it because the main character being a little blonde girl really fucked with me. Like, because, Daphne is a little blonde girl. And I'm like, dude, if anything like this ever happened to her, I don't know what the fuck I would do. So I'm just like, man, no thank you. So I went from that to high school. Is it just DD or is it high school DxD?
I actually don't know if you pronounce the X on this one. I literally was going through a list of animes with an X in the title to see how you pronounce them, and it's never what you expect. You never get it right. Whatever you guess is wrong. In fact, I'm going to look it up right now.
It's probably like high school double D.
I've always heard the X pronounced, but
I've always called it DxD. But I also used to say Hunter x Hunter.
Same.
Yeah, according to Wikipedia, the Hepburn pronunciation is High School DD. So yeah, apparently you do not say the X on this one. So Hunter x Hunter Squad represent. Right, we're in the same boat again.
High School DD. Hilarious show. I saw a titty in it, and I was immediately shocked because I did not realize it was one of those kinds of animes. I knew it was going to be the ecchi boobies type show, but when I saw Nip, I was like, all right. But it's quite funny, and it's a classic. So I'm not gonna like oh, I recommend to watch it because I'm sure everyone listening here has watched anime, has probably watched it or at least know of it. Yeah, so I've been doing that and enjoying it. And I've been playing a shitload of Stardew Valley, modded Stardew Valley. I've been growing cannabis.
Oh yeah.
So that's what I've been up to.
Oh, fun.
Nude patch?
No nude patch, but hilarious to me that there are a few.
Oh, is there?
I gotta see them Abigail pixels, man.
Oh, that's funny. I was joking. I thought
No.
for sure. Well, I mean, that makes sense.
The internet exists, Dave. Come on.
Yeah.
I bet Shane is hung like a beer can.
On the last episode,
that's a great joke for all my Stardew Valley fans out there.
Jesus Christ, on the last episode, I was talking about how that I had seen a couple nude mods for Stardew Valley, and I hadn't used any of them, so I downloaded one to see what it was like. Right?
Okay, so what do they do? Is it literally just pixel art?
So it just adds in more adult scenes, and they happen organically. It's not like gratuitous, if that makes any sense at all. They added it in a way that it fits in. So I'll tell you the scene.
But did they at least like hire like artists to do like little H splash screens or something?
I'll explain it to you.
Okay,
yeah.
You'll bring us there. I'm so sorry.
So I told Pulse this when he popped in and I was playing Final Fantasy 14. I said, by the way, I didn't marry Jody, but I did fuck her. So I just randomly I get a thing from Jody that says, hey, bring a largemouth bass to my house at 7:00 and I'll cook.
We all know what that means.
Cook it for dinner. So I'm like, all right. So,
largemouth and chill.
And then she pulled it out and it was just a smallmouth and I was so disappointed.
But But the fit on the smallmouth, pretty good.
So I caught the fish, and then I just like did other things for like days and days and days, but the quest never went away. So I'm like, okay, so this isn't a timed quest. So I randomly one night was like, oh, it's going on 7 o'clock. I'll run into Jody's and see what she wanted. Because
with this stinky fish you've been holding in your inventory for 4 weeks.
At this time, I had forgotten that I installed this mod. So this is how it goes down. I go in, and it's like any other normal Stardew Valley quest. It's like, oh, thank you for bringing me the fish. Now we can all have dinner together. One of her sons, or one of the kids, is out, and they're not going to be back. So it's just me, you, and her other kid that I can't think of his name. The one with the dirty room. Is it Shane? No. Sebastian.
No, Sebastian.
I think. I don't. I'm bad with the names. I know Abigail because I'm dating her.
No, Shane is right. Shane's the dude with the alcohol problem. That was hence the joke I made earlier.
That's not Jody's kid? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
No, Shane is an adult. He's reprehensible.
Never mind. So the kid comes out and he's like, yo, I'm going to go hang out with so-and-so. And the mom's like, oh, but I'm making this dinner. He's like, no, it's cool. Like, and there was more to it because like I don't remember exactly, but there was actually decent writing. Not like, Stephen King level, like, whoa, writing, but like...
I don't think I want to read a Stephen King romance scene. I know what happens in it.
I didn't until recently.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Oh buddy.
Wow. Cocaine and cigarettes. Anyway, so she's like, well, I guess it's just going to be us two. All right. So again, I forgot that I had that mod installed. So at this point I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to have dinner with Jody. That's cool. I'll probably get a friendship level. I got a friendship level. So we're sitting there, we're eating dinner, and she's like, would you like to have a glass of wine? And then it pops up on the screen like they have glass after glass, and finally, and eventually the wine bottle is empty. So then it cuts through a scene in Jody's living room. We're sitting on her couch, and we're on opposite sides of the couch. This is where it started to impress me a little bit. So we're talking back and forth, and she starts talking about her husband, who's away at war. And how, she's getting used to not having someone around or feeling like the touch of her lover or any kind of things like that. And you have these like responses you can give to her, whether you're like flirt with her or you don't. So obviously when I saw that, I was like, oh, that's right. So I was immediately like, well, So her little sprite then like looks over at me and looks down, and I can see her blush, and she puts her hands over and she scooches towards me like they would in a movie. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, that's good animating, because I've never seen anyone in Stardew Valley scooch. So they had to like do that themselves, And she like leans her head over on me, and the screen fades to black. And I'm like, oh, okay. Well, that was cool. And then it fades back in, and I am laying on her living room floor, and she is on me reverse cowgirl, riding me. Just pixelated titties. Like, I think they even tried to animate bouncing. Like, yeah.
What's up? They faded to black so they could skip first, second, and third base. And just right
so that happens, and then the cutscene ends, and you guys get dressed again, and she is immediately filled with regret and tells you that you guys shouldn't never talk about this again. And then you leave, and the quest is over, and you get completed. You can claim your prize or whatever. It's like 200 gold.
So you got paid to do that.
Yeah, you're a professional now.
It's the one thing I have in common with my Stardew Valley character.
Stardew Gigolo.
Stardew Gigolo. Yeah, so that was interesting. So I'm curious, like, what other scenes are going to be hidden in the game that I just come upon and don't realize until it's happening.
Come upon.
And then I come upon my keyboard and have to get a new one because I ruined it.
All I'm going to say is, that weird beardy guy that lives way out in the tent? Go check out him a little bit. Yeah, I forgot his name. I haven't played that game in a long time.
Recently taught me how to make sashimi.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
And then blew me.
I imagine that would be some like raw homeless person sex.
Oh yeah.
You know that scene in Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back when George Carlin just throws the thumbs up at the truck driver?
There are no lines anymore. Gay, straight, don't be so suburban. He's like, well, there's a line right there. On this side of it, we're not gay. It's all part of the book. The open book of the road.
The road. Wait, was that Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back?
No, it was definitely.
Yeah, it was Jay and Silent Bob.
He was,
okay. That's right. He was the
bishop.
Our bishop, yeah.
Bishop, yeah, cardinal.
Cardinal.
It was one of them. I don't know. Archbishop?
He's the bishop cardinal arch of Weatherbury.
He's a barchbishop.
The rook, the knight, the
Santa
queen,
Maria.
the king.
The fourth and fifth minor lift.
Dude, who was it? Nate, was it you that sent the video of those two and Snoop Dogg rapping Boats and Hoes?
It was Nathan.
Bro,
Yeah.
to see Snoop Dogg just like rapping that with him when Snoop Dogg pop in, drink a sangria. Tremendous.
He looked like he's having a great time, which is kind of, I think, the default. I don't think Snoop Dogg is ever not having a great time.
I have also pointed out before that Snoop Dogg has he literally raps about murdering people sometimes. When have you ever heard him sound mad in a rap song? Except
That's true.
maybe like early Death Row days when he was angsty. But
when he's doing G-Funk type shit, never.
dude,
No.
he has been cool as a cucumber. I murder your ass and then I smoke a blunt. Like that. It just doesn't give up. He's the coolest motherfucker. And I love
The capybara of gangsters.
One of my favorite Snoop Dogg things, and it is because he always comes across as like really smooth and like cool and like composed and like having a great time, is when he rage quit his live stream when he was playing Madden NFL.
That's right. Yes.
yeah.
I love that shit so fucking much, man, because it's like he is a real person. Hell yes, all right.
Man, fuck this shit.
We've all been there.
And I was playing a game of Tecmo Super Bowl with Willie, and I had that exact same reaction.
Yep. I'm playing with Nate. His guy fumbles the kickoff. I kick it off again to him. He runs the guy out for a moment, sees my tacklers coming, just runs right back into the end zone for a safety. I'm like, okay, you're done playing, aren't you? And he's like, yup, and immediately disconnects Spark. Dude, he had the right to be pissed though, because this guy just fumbled a kickoff for no reason. It wasn't even like he just caught the kickoff and then immediately got hit. He picked up the ball, ran with it, had blockers and all that, and all of a sudden the dudes just stripped him for no reason. It's terrible. I like Tecmo Super Bowl, but sometimes the RNG in that game can be a real bitch, especially on fumbles.
I'm always curious how those old football games hold up, because I had a buddy of mine. I don't remember if it was for his Genesis or his Super Nintendo. He had both. But he had one of the early Madden games, or like one of the early football games.
It could have been Madden on Super Nintendo Genesis. They had the first Madden, not the Apple II Madden, but the first console Madden.
Like Madden 95, something like one of those. You know what I mean? But like, dude, I remember it being fun. But I'm curious how it holds up.
So that pulled up really good. I went back and played NHL 94 a while back, and that one was really good. Although
Madden
it doesn't
92.
have like half the teams.
Madden 92.
92.
Madden 92 rules because when someone gets injured,
That's the ambulance.
the ambulance drives onto the field and knocks people over.
That's awesome. Man, it's funny, like, I went from an original Nintendo to a PlayStation. So, and my dad is not a sports guy. So it was me. I think my grandparents actually bought me some like football games because they wanted me to play football because I was a big boy. I'm going to be a linebacker or a defensive tackle or whatever the fuck. No. Nah. I did not like that lifestyle in high school, at least in my high school. The jocks were jerks. But anyway, that's a whole nother story. They got me NFL Extreme 2 and NFL Blitz.
Wow. Yes.
So they didn't get me regulation football games. They got me the two that you could beat the shit out of people in. Like, I loved an NFL Extreme 2. You could tackle a motherfucker and he'd get up and you could just tackle him again, and he'd get up, you could tackle him again as many times as you wanted before the fucking the timer went off. And God, tremendous. I might go emulate that sometime.
One of my favorite football game moments of all time was I was staying in my grandparents' house because I was going to college from there because I didn't have a dorm at the time, and my cousin was also staying over a lot of the time, and so we would play PlayStation 2 games a lot, and I rented Blitz the League, which was like they got the Blitz license back, but they didn't have the NFL license, so they made like an original game. And he'd never heard of it. So I rented that game and brought it home. And I'm like, hey, let's play this football game. And he's like, yeah, cool. And so he sees he's got his guy wide open, throws him out there. And I immediately just run over and just blast the hell out of his wide receiver. He's like, oh, I'm going to get a flag or whatever. And then the commentator is like, smart move to take him out before he gets there. And he's like, oh, yes. Like he'd never heard that this series was about arcade football. He thought it was going to be a simulation.
I remember renting that for my Xbox. And I specifically remember my player like going down and breaking I think it was his leg or something like that in a one of the brawls that you could have where the team versus team fight that would just happen in games. And they were like, he's going to be out for like 3/4 of the season. Or you can give him these steroids and he'll be out and he'll be back in 3 plays.
Steroid injection.
Yep. Like, what? Yeah, drug that motherfucker up, man. Brock Lesnar his ass. To the gills. Gas to the gills. And you could get caught.
They realized once they didn't have the NFL license anymore, they could just go absolutely over the top ridiculous.
Yeah, because you could choose the different kind of drugs. You could choose ones that might not show up on the drug tests, but they don't help as much. You could show ones that would really pop on the drug test, but they'll really give you that kick. It was like Narc. It was like the remake of Narc on PS2, where you could take lewds and everyone would have a emoji face pop up over their head. And if you saw red ones, those were criminals, and you could just run up to them and arrest them. So I just walked around on lewds, all Quaaludes, the whole game. Like my dude was just fucked up. You remember that scene from Wolf of Wall Street where he thinks everything's going well? It actually was because my dude can handle himself. But I imagine in real life it would have been the other scene. My dude's like, you're arrest.
I think my favorite Blitz the League power-up you could do before a game was you had the ability in the, I think the story mode, career mode, or whatever, to pay a bunch of money to just send a bunch of sex workers to the other team's locker room and they would immediately start the game.
Yeah. Yeah. Fucking tremendous, the weird shit you could do in those games. Loved it, dude. Speaking of weird shit you can do in video games, boys, we have a game that we played. It is a revisit. I believe our episode on this was 2 years ago.
That sounds right.
Time flies.
But it received a major update a while back that completely changed the progression mechanics.
So we played some Phasmophobia. And, of course, the obligatory Wikipedia bullshit. Here are the O-dubs. Phasmophobia is a paranormal horror game developed and published by British indie game studio Kinetic Games. It is based primarily on the popular hobby of ghost hunting. Ooh. The game became available in early access through Steam for Microsoft Windows with virtual reality support in September of 2020. The game received a large influx of popularity the following month due to many well-known Twitch streamers and YouTubers playing it, mainly for the Halloween season. On the 15th of October of the same year, the game was 6th most popular on Twitch, and it was the best-selling game on Steam globally for several weeks, October to November of 2020. After reading that first paragraph of this wiki, I don't know why that paragraph is there, because that's just being like, oh, look at this cool thing it did. It is like nothing actually about the game. So it's a horror investigation survival game from a first-person perspective, and the rest of it we can just kind of talk about. So let's go first impressions compared to first impressions of this new update. So I'll start for once. When we first started playing Phasmophobia, the first thing I realized about it is it had a little bit of Bethesda jank, even though it's not a Bethesda game.
Mm-hmm.
But I have such a love for a little bit of jank in a game. I don't know why, but I do. So I loved it. And the fact that this game would actually scare me was impressive, because at that point I had played some stuff like PT and things like that had terrified me, but never really a multiplayer game that would scare me, because it's like I'm laughing with my buddies. And then this one came along and I was like, well, Maybe it can happen. Now, the update. I went in and realized all my money was gone. I had
all your
stacks on
ill-gotten
stacks.
money.
I had stacks on stacks.
Your
of blood money.
legitimately achieved money.
Blood money. I had so much.
He sold so many stocks of GameStop to get all those payments, man.
And it was all gone. And
His bitcoins, his apes.
the new building looks cool. I want to wait till all of us talk to really get into more of that. But like, so I'm looking around it and I'm like, okay, so they changed some stuff up. And then I think it just looks crisper now. I think they've updated the graphic palette a little. But yeah, I'm thoroughly impressed with the updates so far. So then let's go. Guest first, Dave. First impressions compared to like, what were your first impressions of this new update when you logged in for the first time?
So I've been playing Phasmophobia for a long time with you guys. So it's
Nate especially do a buddy cop thing a lot of the time.
Oh yeah. Oh man, I have so many great memories of Nate and I struggling to open doors in Phasmophobia. Just scared in a room together and like knowing like, and we had a conversation where it's like we're gonna die. I think the updates are nice. I don't want to be negative at all, but I am disappointed that the console release isn't out yet. I know that they had a fire, and like that's a big deal. But it's not one of those things where it's like I'm just disappointed because man, I've got people who would love this game who don't have a PC, and it's like I'm like my sister and my brother-in-law. I'm like, okay, if you guys want, I'll buy this game for you when it comes out. If you play, I think you'll like it. But that's one thing on the updates that I'm looking forward to. I like the new locations. I like the new locations that they've added in the updates. I think that like having like back in the day, there wasn't an outdoor location. I mean, I think having the campground is a lot of fun, even though I prefer like the big campground. Because what's cool about the big campground is like it is outdoor, but it also has that cabin, so you can like still get that indoor experience.
That cabin all the way in the back.
Fucking cabin.
Yep.
Yeah, that cabin's that's the spot too with the deck, right? You go out to the end of the deck and you look at the water and Jason's mask floats up.
It's on the way to the cabin.
Yeah, dude, fantastic. Like that level is awesome. But we have all died grisly deaths in that place more than once for sure.
Oh yeah.
I feel like that area is also one of the ones that seems like it really loves spawning mega aggressive ghosts. It's always going to be a demon or some shit on that one.
Yeah, I agree because it's like I very rarely survive that level. So what about you, Nate?
Yeah, so like obviously we did this game 2 years ago, and I looked to make sure it was 2 years ago because I thought maybe it was last year. No, it was 2 years ago, for goodness sake. And
Top class, man.
And just looking at it from what it was then to what it is now, they made a lot of. I feel like they have made a lot of quality of life changes. There's things about the old one that I definitely miss. Like some of the jank has been kind of patched out, I feel like. And I did like the old, just basically garage that you were in. There's just something like we're not like Zach Bagans in Ghost Adventures here. We're this poor staff that's just going out and actually doing these ghost treks. But yeah, I like the update. I think it's really cool. They've added a whole lot of new features since we last played, like the haunted items and all that kind of stuff.
Baby.
Yeah, we'll get there.
Yeah,
and then one thing that I really do like that they did was if you were a player from before they did the big reset and everything, there's a plaque on your wall that says, like a plaque from a commemorating your service for however many hunts that you did, or I can't remember exactly what's on it, but I thought that was
level one of the two.
Yeah, I think it was.
Yeah, I thought that was a really cool touch.
Yeah, it's almost like proof of your prestige.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like you see that plaque. That's why we have this new fucking building.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Yeah. We built this city.
But
We built this city on spooky ghouls.
well, I'm going to go ahead and get Willie's opinion first before I start going into actual things about the room.
Yeah, absolutely. The very first thing that really struck to me was, I mean, we played this a bunch. Like, we got kind of almost to the point where we were like an attack team. We were formulaic with it. We could go in there and just
I was about to say we went in like a
out.
SWAT team.
And I feel like
SEALs.
I know, because like it always started off as like with me like setting up a bunch of camera stands, Dave grabbing one of the cameras, taking it in, and like we had a plan back then.
I feel like when they reset the equipment, it completely forced us to improvise, because not only did they reset your level entirely, but now you have there's a bit more of a grind to it, because the level 1 equipment, there's 3 levels of each level of equipment now. Like, you remember back in the old versions, there was the flashlight and the extended flashlight. Those are now like
They're tiered.
the level 2 flashlight is the tier, yeah. The tier 2 flashlight's basically the old expanded flashlight. The level 1 flashlight's mega garbage. And now there's like 3 tiers of everything. So when you first start the game, until you've done a bunch of hunts, you're going to have mega trash equipment. You can't even do most of the things, which is also how it was. But it was only gated by your money in the first version of it, the progression system. Now it's gated by money and experience points. Whereas if you have enough experience points, you can get the level 2 flashlight. You can bring that with you.
I appreciate that all of the core things that you need to find the ghosts aren't locked at first. It's all the extra stuff like
you still have an EMF detector. You still have
garbage versions of them.
Oh, they're so bad. That thermometer, holy shit! Where it's like, yeah, we're gonna go hunt a ghost, and I pulled this off my back porch.
I got this off my window.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Is the first 2 things that struck me were how incredibly shit the level 1 thermometer and the level 1 flashlight are. Like, you feel so vulnerable and weak. Like, I almost stopped looking at the thermometer and just started looking for, like, my character's breath, because that's a better indicator that you're in a cold room compared to the mercury thermometer you start with. That, yeah, it looks like you pulled it off your grandma's shed.
Remember when they added that new case to the old garage? And it had all those items in it that we were like, what are these going to be? And here we were all speculating what new items they were going to be. And they were just newer tiers of these stuff, like the little, the notebook. We now have like a shitty little notepad that we can put down. But the third level one looks like you're putting down the book from Evil Dead. The Necronomicon. Just things look sweet.
The Necronomicon Ex Mortuus.
Full disclosure, we did not get very far in the progression before.
No.
Yeah. I'm going to be honest, we wanted to try to get to tier 2 equipment, but we just got all of the tier 1 equipment.
Which still took quite a few hunts.
Yeah. Because the sanity pill, I think you get at level, well, not even pill, it's a sanity oil. You get it at level 16.
Yeah. Or is it a tincture? I thought it was like a little like snake oil potion.
It's like, yeah. Yeah, it's like a little snake oil tincture. But it also, you guys didn't know this because you were dead, and I was the only one that could read it because I was the only one that hadn't unlocked it. What I wanted to tell you guys was it is now sanity over time rather than just, because you drank like 2 of them because you didn't think the first one was working.
Yeah.
I wanted to tell you guys, it's like a recovery over time now. It doesn't just immediately pop like the pill used to.
I wonder what the third level is, if it's just like a straight heroin shot.
The third... It's an adrenaline shot. You actually get unlimited sprinting after you take it for like 30 seconds.
Huh.
Oh. I know we talked about that 2 years ago. That has not changed. The fact that you sprint for 3-4 seconds and your dude's out of breath and can't run anymore because apparently they smoke a carton a day.
Yeah, dude.
What they call sprinting, I call it jogging.
No, it's more like that little half hurry you do when you're crossing the street and somebody's coming in a car and you're like, oh, I'll hurry up. And you just kind of hurry for like 2 seconds and then you stop and just keep walking. Like,
you just shuffle your feet a little faster.
You get a little hop at the start.
Oh, dude. I have been enjoying the graphical upgrades. I think that it's made things eerier. I feel like you said, we did get to a point where we were like SEAL Team 6ing those ghosts. So it was like, it wasn't scary anymore. Now I have had some moments now where I'm like, okay, I'm getting creeped out.
Yeah, and I can definitely agree. I've had some of those moments too, but it doesn't come close to matching what it did 2 years ago, especially like playing with our good buddy Jeff. when the ghost with the axe, man, that's a memory I'll never forget of this game. That was just...
When you were doing the intro, I almost just yelled, "He has an axe!" over top of you, so to keep it in mind.
God.
You know, very, very first impressions of the game, though, like, this game is one that I think Dave and Grim, it might have been Grim, I don't remember who exactly it was, found it, and it was actually Game Buds at TADPOG for a while.
Yeah, and they were like, we had like split in different, I think that's why there was 2 different Game Buds channels for a little bit, wasn't there?
Well, I think that was because we had like 20 people at one point trying to play Among Us.
Among Us.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Oh, my God, Among Us. That game exists. It's still around, apparently.
Yeah, I think it just got like console releases, didn't it?
Yeah, it's on consoles now.
Something just happened with it.
I feel like I never want to play the normal version of that game again, but I would try hide and seek mode because I feel like there's less accusations going on.
Like, I feel like if we got off all the metagaming and stuff, because it's been a while, like, it's fun to bring up once every, like, 3 months, you know? Like, it still occasionally comes up in Game Buds.
Yeah. But back to Phasmophobia talk. No, you're good. Just thinking about... You got through your first impressions, right, Will? Yeah. So, like,
that's all
we talked a little bit about the progression items. One thing that's really cool is you can see all of them before you have them. So, like, there's a big display in the game where you can look at what all the new levels of things look like. But one of my absolute favorite things that they added was the display cases. So now whenever you do something in the game, you can add things to your display case, which gives you more incentive to do things. Because, like, back in the day, like, you know, you were just taking a photo of the bone and picking up the bone for extra cash. Well, now, every time you get a bone, it adds it to your display case, so you can start collecting every piece of the bone. And then, like we said, the haunted items that have been added, there's things like, I'm not going to go into what they are right now, but there's like the voodoo doll, the mirror.
I was going to say, before we get into the items, I wanted to point out that, like, yeah, back in the day, it was just me. It'd be like, hey, I found the bone. Okay, I'd run over, take a picture, just take it. Now, it's more like, hey, I found the bone. It's a skull. Who doesn't have a skull? Come get
Me, I want the skull. I want the skull.
Right.
Come get the skull. And it's like, where is it? You know, so it's more of incentive to like share instead of somebody just going and being like, boom, found the bone.
Yeah.
Found the bone.
Yeah. And like they added all these haunted items, like I said, the mirror and the music box, the voodoo doll and stuff that if you use, you get to add to your display case as well. So like we'll get into the hunt and like I know full well I don't really want to use the voodoo doll, but I want this for my display case. So like guys, you might want to go to the van for a second because I'm about to hit the voodoo doll.
Yeah, you did that with that was like one of our recent moments that I thought was really funny was when you had the music box and you're like, oh, I'm going to use the music box. Everyone get out of the house but me. And we did, but you did it inside with like the front door open so we could just watch what happened.
Yeah, it's good stuff. Like, I like that kind of content upgrades. And like, I don't know if you guys feel this way or not too, but I feel like the money isn't as rough as it was in the original patch, like in the original game. Because I feel like we've had enough money that if we died, it's not been that big of a deal.
Yeah.
We haven't had a lot of total party wipes either, but we've also been kind of sticking to intermediate and having one person call the bus if we think. We've been going like, okay, y'all, I think it's a Spectre. It's a Spectre. Let's go. Ghost, do you hear me? But yeah, I do agree that we haven't really been running out of money.
Two specific stories jump out in my brain real quick. The first one is when we first started playing after the update, when we were all like, oh, they added cursed items. And I remember finding that voodoo doll. And just...
You didn't say shit either. You just
I didn't say anything. I just pushed in every single pin on that thing at one time. Just mashed the button until they were all pushed in and was like, what's the worst that could happen? We all died within 20 seconds? It fucking murked Nate. They're like, what the fuck? Murked Willie. And then they came and found me and killed me. And it was like, and Nate and Willie were like, what the fuck happened? Oh, yeah, that was my bad. So I found this voodoo doll, right? He was walking into this fish market, right? Fish market. So also the cursed mirror. No, I'm sorry. The cursed mirror is cool because you can like hold it up and it's like. Which fun fact? that talking that you hear when you hear the reversed soft whisper talking are people from the Phasmophobia team who took lines from the movie A Bee Movie and read them verbatim and then reversed them.
So stupid.
Amazing.
Like, how many times have we been creeped out by that? And it's a bee flirting with a woman backwards.
Do you like jazz?
It's just tremendous. But like, so you hold up the mirror and it shows you see through the ghost's eyes. So you see where it's at. But as we realize is that using that mirror tanks your sanity.
Yeah.
Any of the cursed artifacts tank your sanity, but specifically the mirror drained mine to 0 immediately. But the other thing is the Ouija board.
I think that was like one of the first ones to be implemented. And I kept hunting for the Ouija board because I always wanted to talk to the Ouija board. That was my favorite thing.
The fact that they coded in that you need to say goodbye to it before you leave it, or else.
Yeah.
I think that's a good touch.
Mm-hmm.
Does it?
Yeah.
I was gonna say, Willie, Dave, do you guys have any like artifact moments that jump out to you that like you've been like, oh, what the fuck?
I'm scared of them. I like never touch them. I know you guys were saying earlier that it doesn't really like scare you as much as it used to. This game still fucking scares the shit out of me, and I love that. I don't want it to stop scaring me. And I was a little concerned. I was like, oh, okay, we're gonna record this podcast. I should probably put some more time in. And I tried playing solo the other night, and which I've done before, and holy shit, it's so fucking scary, man. I couldn't do it. I could not do it. I noped out. And it's like, I was telling Willie about it on Discord, man. I just like, I got in the house, and then the ghost, and it was just the easy house, just the Edgewood, just nice, easy breezy. We're going to put this on low difficulty. I got in that house, and the ghost like immediately starts fucking with me. It's like throwing all kinds of shit, opening door. Like, it's the most active ghost. Like, I know when it's like the four of us, sometimes we're like, I don't know what room it's in or anything, but like this thing was like popping off the moment I went in, and it did that thing. I swear to you, I was like 30 seconds in, and my flashlight starts flickering, and I get that ba-doom, 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 heartbeat in my ear, and I was like, I'm done. I'm not doing this. I am done.
That really reminds me of my experience trying to do a solo one time in VR.
That's what I was gonna ask, is if you ever did that.
Yeah.
Dude, I did a solo in VR one time, and I think I did like the same house that Dave's talking about. I walked in, and it knew, dude. Like, I don't know if there's something with the VR headset that just lets you know that you're freaking out. But as soon as I walked in there, the ghost is like, not this time, bitch, and starts doing all that stuff that Dave talked about. It even did that one thing where, you know how it turns the lights that dark red hue and then explodes them?
Oh, man.
Oh,
It did that to me in VR, and I was like, nope. I did not last through that.
The worst of that, like the scary moments, I feel like, is always like the kids singing.
Yeah.
That like gets real. Oh man, this game scares me, and I love that.
Here's the thing. It's not that it doesn't scare me. It's like I'm so used to some of the houses that we've run so much that I kind of know what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
When we play levels that we don't touch often, i.e. the high school, the asylum, or
the asylum,
some of the log houses still freak me the fuck out. But like specifically the high school and the asylum.
I think the rural ones actually freak me out the most, to be honest. The really deep one that has like 4 floors, that one I never feel comfortable with.
I really liken this, since we started playing for the holiday season again, that they added in the asylum restricted, which is kind of like I don't want to say procedurally generated, but it is different every time. Like, it locks some areas off and keeps some areas open. It's like a smaller version of the asylum to explore, but like you don't know what areas are going to be blocked off, and it really adds another layer of fear to it.
Yeah, because it's like you think you know your way around, but the way you know is not there anymore. So good luck.
Yeah. And like I remember we were playing that one night with Dave, and we all go in there, and me and Dave were just walking around. We walked into the same door together and came into this room that was like a full-on recreation almost of one of the churches from like Outlast 2 in there.
Yeah.
And me and Dave were just like,
awesome.
Me and Dave were like, guys, y'all probably want to come here and see this.
Yeah.
That room was so fucked.
I loved the other night when we were playing, and I think it was just 3 of us. And I just put my vote for the high school. And you both were like, you evil motherfucker, let's do it. So
No,
he said that. I voted for the
I changed to the high school because I was being a dick too.
Oh, that's right, because Willie he was like, well, this proves democracy doesn't work.
Yeah.
So we went into the high school, and I don't know how we all got separated, but we all got separated. And we were like having a conversation, and there's a book by Ray Bradbury, The Illustrated Man. And one of the stories is about these spacemen that are like drifting apart in space. And eventually like one of them just stops talking. Yeah. And then eventually another one just stops talking. And then the book just ends mid-sentence. And like that is such a brilliant story. And that is exactly how that fucking game of Phasmophobia played out. Because we were like talking. Power kept going out. Willie's like, okay, I'm going to go get the power. Okay, I'm going to go get the power. So eventually, I'm just roaming around, and I'm talking into the walkie-talkie, and you guys aren't responding. So I'm like, man, it's glitching again. They can't hear me, or I can't hear them, or whatever. So I'm just wondering. Shitty flashlight, ended up cranking the in-game brightness so I could actually see. Because by the way, the in-game default brightness is the lowest it can go. For some reason it resets the brightness after the prestige to like 0.1. So maybe go fix that if you've been playing since before then. Yeah. So I turned it up to where I could see. Because it's like 0.1 out of 5. And I'm wandering around, and I finally find the entrance, and I look down, and I see a corpse, and I walk around not that much further, and I see another corpse, and I'm like, oh, that's why. I'm out of here. And I went and got in the van, and I'm like, look at it. I'm like, I think it's this. Which, speaking of, gentlemen, I have a list of the ghosts pulled up. I'm going to run through the names of all of them. We can talk about each of them. You know, we could touch on them in a conversation-wise. But there are a few that are new that I'm going to point out because I don't think we've seen all of them yet. So there is the Banshee, the Demon, the Diogen.
That's a new one. I don't think we've gotten
Diogen yet.
I don't even know what that's from. I'm going to go ahead and look that up.
Goryo, Hantu, Jin, Mare, Moroi, a Myling, Obake, an Oni, an Onryu, a Phantom, a Poltergeist, a Raiju, a Revenant, a Shade, a Spirit, a Thay, Thaye, Thay, I think. That's another new one.
We also haven't got
the
that
Mimic,
one yet.
The Twins, Wraith, Yokai, and Yurei.
So, the one we pronounce as Diogen is Deogen. It is a Belgian ghost that haunts the Sonian forest. That the name is Dutch for the eyes. So Deogen.
That makes sense.
And then,
go ahead.
And then the other one is the Taye, also spelled Tase, are Burmese mythology. So this is in Myanmar. That is deceased evil people condemned to be disembodied spirits.
That's intense. So Deogen. Okay, Deogen.
It should be 2 words. Deogen.
Its strengths.
The eyes.
Its strengths are it always knows where the player is during a hunt and moves very fast when going to their location.
Oh, that sounds awful. We got a little bit lucky on escaping some hunts in the last couple sessions, I feel like.
Yeah, we should talk about that. But its weakness is that it moves very slowly when it's near its victim. And the Thay, or Taye, which is way cooler than just Thay, entering the location of it makes it active, defensive, and agile, is its strength. And its weakness is becomes slower and less active over time.
So basically it manifests and weakens, but when it first manifests, it's like spooky as hell. Gotcha.
Fun fact, the spirit has no strength. It just has a weakness, which is incense is more effective on it, preventing a hunt for longer.
Okay.
bust a ghost.
Bustin' makes me feel good.
I know, like, personally, and I'm curious to hear y'all's opinion on it too. I think that we have gotten our asses handed to us most by, like, revenants. Where is it?
I feel like Raiju has been a sleeper too.
Raiju and demons.
Yeah.
Yeah, meanwhile, I was say I think we've wrapped up every Yurei we've ever fought.
That's possible. I don't know. That's a lot. We've done a lot of matches. What about you, Dave? Do you have any ones that like jump out to you as ones that have just absolutely, they always kick our dick in the dirt?
Yeah, I do, and I don't think we've ever come across it, and that's the fucking Mimic, because they added the Mimic, and all of a sudden it's this element of, well, I don't know, it could be a Mimic, and then...
I have definitely been killed trying to confirm something is not a Mimic
right.
so many times.
Right, which that should count as a kill for the Mimic, as opposed to the actual ghost it is.
In that case, the Mimic has the biggest body count of anyone I've ever fought, because there's been so many that like, you think you saw orbs, but I'm going back in with the Vos box.
Right, exactly. So it's like, the fact that they added the Mimic is like, awesome, but also like, come the fuck on, man. Like, this, we don't need this. We're scared. We don't need to be doubting ourselves on top of that.
This isn't a JRPG.
The biggest bastard
we don't need a mimic.
It's perfect. It's perfect.
But dude, I remember one game. I don't remember who we were playing with. I suppose it doesn't really matter. We got a mimic, and I only remember that because we got a UV, and on the UV, the handprint had 6 fingers.
6 fingers, that's right.
Oh, shit.
And we were like, yo, that looks weird. So it was immediately, or it was either 6 fingers or 4 fingers. One of the two. It's not just the 5 fingerprints or the 5 handprint. So it's like something was off. And I think that's one of the tells for the Mimic.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah, that was before the reboot on the Prestige system, but definitely one of the ones we played before.
Strength and
that's cool.
Like
strength and weakness for the Mimic. Strength can mimic the abilities and traits of other ghosts. Shocker, right? But its weakness is it will present fake ghost orbs as secondary evidence. So I don't see how that's a weakness.
No, I don't either. Because that just makes us think it's something else.
Yeah.
So it's like, here's a strength and here's a weakness for you, motherfucker.
Just horrible creature. Obviously, mud crab, horrible creature.
Some of these are really interesting, like the yokai. Talking near the yokai will anger it, increasing its chance to attack.
We ran into that because I tried to voice box it and it just ganked my ass.
Yeah. There's a few of these though that like they've been in the game forever, but we don't ever really see them all that much. Like we don't really get the twins all that often anymore.
Yeah.
No, that's true. And that was like one of the later editions too, because the twins.
Yeah, because I remember when they released the twins, like we started playing, and like almost every other ghost hunt was the twins because they were trying to push it so that people could see it when it first came out. So like the amount of twins cases was like buffed in the game.
Whereas, but still, we haven't seen Daogen or Tai.
Yeah, but that just might be because we didn't play when they were brand new. I bet when they first came out, it was there a lot.
That's possible. Yeah.
Yeah, more than likely. I know, like. When the 4 of us played recently, I mean, I don't remember how many rounds we did, but I remember we did like a decent amount, and I don't think we really got like I don't think we had a Phantom. I don't think we got Obake. You know, there's a bunch of them that like I don't think I've even seen since we started playing again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't think that is true.
Do you have some favorite things that the ghosts do, like to fuck with you? I know Nate, you mentioned the red lights and the light bulbs exploding. I love that shit.
Dalton, you brought up the chants, the one that sounds like the 1-2 Freddy's coming for you, and also the Ring Around the Rosie one. Those are very good.
Yeah, and Dave, you had mentioned the kids singing being creepy, I believe, and it's just like, yeah, that Ring Around the Rosie. It's like fuck all the way.
Man, one thing I wish it actually did was because like the ghosts can hear you, right? So the game has access to your microphone. One thing I wish that it would do is like capture audio that someone has said on your team and then repeat it. Like that would be...
If the Mimic could do that would be... Like that one Doctor Who, hey, who turned out the lights?
Yeah. I mean, that would be... I'm surprised that hasn't happened yet. And I'm almost kind of curious if it's like, they've probably had that idea, but they're like, that's kind of might be like a privacy kind of thing that, you know... they don't want to mess with.
GPDR on them,
You
yeah.
could send them an email and be like, hey, so I had this idea for a fire demon. Just kidding.
Like, I remember during one of the Christmas updates that I played, and like instead of like the normal sounds that goes to make you could start hearing like jingle bells and things like that. Like I always love the seasonal stuff they do, and like I'm really surprised that I haven't seen any seasonal things in Phasmophobia this time.
But again, it might be because of what Dave brought up with it. Their studio caught on fire.
True.
Why is it not in my games list? What in the world? Oh, there it is. I was just looking in the wrong spot. Yeah, because there's no. It says up to date, so there's no update for late October.
Yeah, surprising.
Not even pumpkins.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they've got like, I know that fire really messed them up because like, and they recently made an announcement, like a developer update saying that like they're fully like remote now, and that has been like a big adjustment for them. And I mean, I wish that hadn't happened. That really sucks because I enjoyed their product, their game so much that it just stinks that like something that bad would happen to them.
Yeah, I mean, because like they've been so consistent too. So like that this is not just some bullshit they're feeding us, because like they've been super consistent about putting out updates. Like I remember just like it felt like for a while there was like every other week there was a new update to this game.
So I'm reading.
It looks like there's supposed to be. Oh, go ahead. You're probably going to say the same thing.
I'm looking at this developer update while you guys are talking, and it says that the Halloween event launches on around the 26th of October, which would be tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we should play. We should play tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm down.
I'm down. Can I request that we play slightly early because I have to be up stupid fucking early on Friday?
I'm down.
But I'm down. Regardless. We'll figure it out. Either way, y'all three play if anything, and just let me know how it is.
I have a music. I have to go to a music rehearsal tomorrow. Great podcast talk, I know.
Hey man, I love music, so I'm not going to fault you for going to a music rehearsal of any kind. But I think one of the. Well, for one, I think we just lost Willie. But
I think he's been gone for about 10 minutes. Yeah.
They added. It looks like they updated the Maple Lodge campsite.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. We were just talking about that. That level was awesome, and it says Maple Lodge campsite was the first new location added when the team was first expanded. It was made reasonably quick and therefore had some issues regarding performance due to the long sight lines. Forcing players to render many objects at once. And if you remember, Willie specifically had so many fucking issues with Maple Lodge when it first came out.
Yep.
On the laptop especially, yeah. It took me 3 weeks to log in, and I would get disconnected.
Correct me if I'm wrong. That was one of the leading factors for me to send you that graphics card. Wasn't it like that and Dragon Quest 11?
Yeah.
So you didn't have to play that in like butt resolution?
Because I was playing Dragon Quest 11 in like 800p plus like upscale 50% or something like that.
And that was a long time ago too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I can't even imagine that life anymore. And to me, it was like brilliant because that was after I was fresh off the laptop. So to me, I was like, yeah, I'm getting Rocket League in like 20 frames per second.
I can relate to that because for the longest time, I played World of Warcraft on my laptop. Yeah, 18 frames a second.
Buddy, I knew so many people played World of Warcraft on shit frames per second because they just didn't know any better. That was what PC game looked like.
I'll never forget house sitting for Dustin and his girlfriend, and she had a top of the line computer and she installed WoW for me, and I loaded it up and I said, "Oh my god, this game plays like butter. The characters look so good; they look cell shaded. What the fuck?" And that's when I realized, oh, okay, I need to get an actual computer.
My computer's a butthole.
And that because that laptop was to the point that like if the charger fell out, it was going to die in fucking 2 minutes. If it was running World of Warcraft, that charger fell out, you had 30 seconds to get that motherfucker back in.
Keep talking and nobody explodes ass.
But anyways, so it had given Willie a lot of trouble. It says, with this in mind, CJ and our new artist, Zek, cool name, have worked together to create a brand new layout. It features a new reception building, more hiding spots, new decorative assets, and better performance across the board.
Wow. So it completely got overhauled, and we haven't tried it yet because we were so enamored with the fact they added a small campsite that we had to try out a few times.
We only played small campsite, that's right. We haven't seen the new big one yet.
I hope the Jason Easter egg is still there.
We did see the new tech.
Well,
we did see the new textures on the high school, though, and that looked
this hasn't come out
sick.
yet. This is a developer preview.
Oh.
Excuse me. I thought that too, but then I scrolled
okay.
up and saw its development preview. So this is an update that's coming.
Nice.
And then it also goes into the Halloween, where it says, this year for Halloween, we'll be encouraging our ghost hunters to create a potion in their very own cauldron, found in the reworked Maple Lodge campsite location.
Nice. Okay.
Completing the event will reward players with a new ID card badge and a new trophy for their collection.
So there's something we have to do this season, boys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm off this weekend. So players will need to hunt down the recipe cards found in several other locations, then head back to the campsite and create their ghostly concoction.
Wow. That's pretty cool.
Ooh,
Cool.
a witch's blue.
Additionally,
Ooh, woo, which is blue.
both
I was doing a Homestar Runner thing, Nathan. Fuck you.
Ooh, woo, witchy poo.
No, I'm not doing a woo again. No, I went way too far last episode.
Yeah, you gave Mikolov a Woody.
Wait,
But it says, additionally, both the campsite and the lobby have been decorated with newly created spooky decorations for the seasonal period.
Yay, new lobby. We were worried about that.
The Halloween event will launch on or around the 26th of October, shortly after we return from TwitchCon Las Vegas, to ensure that we are available to quickly hotfix any bugs that might arise during the first few days of play.
Nice.
Hell yeah. I'm excited for that. We all were acutely wondering why there wasn't Halloween decorations in the lobby.
Yeah. I gotta say, one thing that I miss the most about the old lobby was whenever you would peek a look in that little door, the ghost girl there go, hey. And like, my favorite thing to do in the lobby now is just to walk through Dalton and do that. It scares him like every time.
He does, because
You do it really well.
God damn. Yeah, he's
insanely good.
There's no clipping between characters. You can walk through each other. So he will literally, and it works,
Right.
like the audio in there is really good. So he'll walk through one side of me and just be like, hey, and it goes through my head because the way the headphones work. And I'm like, fuck!
Swear to God, someone needs to do this and just like set up like, if you're doing a binaural ASMR thing and you want to do like a 1v1 session with someone, you could probably do it in Phasmophobia.
You're not wrong. Or even
Here's your haircut.
even Egyptian Phasmophobia that none of us can ever remember the name of.
Oh,
Forewarned.
Forewarned.
Yes.
What? Dave got it too.
Yeah, we need to play that sometime too.
Oh yeah, I forgot we got Dave to get it, and we still haven't played with it.
But we
Oh, I feel bad about that.
That's all good. We'll get to it.
you could do ASMR, but then you could like go in the tomb and do it, and it would just be like echoey ASMR, and it would be really cool.
Oh yeah, that game has really good voice processing effects.
It's
Cool.
nuts. The audio in that game is, I think, like gameplay wise,
Yeah.
it's all right, but like audio wise, it's a level above Phasmophobia, at least for spatial audio.
I do think the one interesting thing about it compared to Phasmophobia 2 is the fact that there's like physical platforming challenges almost.
Oh, wow.
Like there are actual traps to get past.
Okay, cool.
But the
I obviously I think Phasmophobia is like the nuts in the genre, but like this game definitely has a place. Like it is the Unreal Tournament.
I like it more than I like Devour.
Okay.
I think.
I agree. Just because Devour eventually gets to being this weird, you res and then go and then res and then go and then res and then go. Especially in 3.
Devour is hectic more than it is scary.
Yeah.
I wish I could remember it. A friend of mine, Miss Lumi, I believe is what her Twitch is, if you want to go check her out. She's been playing this game that she said is like Phasmophobia, but you're exorcists. So you go in and you have to figure out what the ghost is and all that, but then you also have to exorcise it.
That's cool.
Oh, wow.
How does the Vatican feel about that?
Not sanctioned by the Vatican.
Do they approve?
This has not been approved by the Vatican.
I have the body of a pig.
I have the body of a pig. Like, yeah, this is so fucking creepy.
It's good spooks. Good spooks.
The thing about Phasmo is, like, at its core, yeah, it's a horror game, but like it's a good game to play with friends because it's like you guys are gonna work together, builds team skills, and then it's also like it's gonna make you laugh because you're going to laugh at your friends when they freak the fuck out. It's gonna happen. I think all of us were about in tears at Jeff when he died from that fucking axe wound. And that's another thing that they added. I think since we did the last episode is when you die, you know, the fingers come across like it always has, but then you get ported to that little room before you go on to actually being a ghost, and inside that room you can see the ghost that killed you.
Yeah.
That happens sometimes in older versions, but I feel like it's happened a lot more in the newer one.
Very creepy.
Because I remember the first time that happened to me, like, and I think it was an older version of the game. I remember like, holy shit, this is badass.
Where it's got like the swinging light kind of deal, and then and there's just the writhing body.
Yeah, sitting there freaking out, holding the meat cleaver or something, and just like, Jesus.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, thank you.
Now when I go into those rooms, I look at them, I'm like, really? Go fuck yourself, you dead piece of shit. You can't hurt me anymore. I'm gonna talk shit now. You can't do nothing. I'm gonna watch you kill my friends and laugh.
And I feel like it's when we were playing with Jeff, we were kind of dicks because like when after we got killed, we would antagonize the ghost and try to get it to kill the other people playing with us.
One of us. One of us.
One of us.
Oh, Dave, I can think of like at least like 50 times of me and you doing that to people when they die.
Oh yeah, I love it. It's my favorite thing about dying in that game is that I was like, okay, well, it sucks that I died, but I do get to say one of us or someone else dies. So please, someone else die.
And
it's more fun than having to complete the tasks.
Yes,
you die and you can suddenly sprint as much as you want, which is nice.
Right.
The couple
doors are a suggestion.
Now, I'm curious, what are things that you guys would like to see added to the game? Because personally, I would like for when you are dead, if your buddy has the spirit box, that you should be able to communicate through that, even if it's broken.
Yeah.
Broken chatter.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
That would be cool.
I've always wanted there to be more interactivity after you're dead with the living, because I just feel like there's things that you should be able to do. Not necessarily knowing what, I leave that to the minds of the creators of the game, but like it would just be so cool if you could do more than just like grab a coffee cup and throw it up and down.
Mm-hmm.
Although I do enjoy grabbing coffee cups and like beer cans and stuff. I like to grab drinks in general. Like I'll grab tea kettles. If something is a drink, I will grab it and throw it at people.
I do love that we like developed a little language with just throwing things when we're dead. It's like throw it at the computer if you think it's this. Like, what are you trying to tell us? Like,
I remember one time I was dead and I was had like a ball, I think, and I kept trying to throw it at the notebook on the wall, trying to tell you guys, get ghostwriting, because both the notebooks were still on the wall and you hadn't put them out yet.
I do remember that. I remember that because I do believe that I went in and put it in and then came back and looked at the camera and the motherfucker was writing and you could see it on the camera and it was like, ghostwriting. Son of a bitch.
Beautiful.
I also think like more character models would be cool.
Yeah. I do like that we have a pretty diverse group of character models, but I would like to see a little bit more in each style instead of just like, you know, 2 white dudes, 2 white girls, 1 person to color of each or whatever it is right now.
I do like that we've all kind of fallen into our character.
I want to be a great Dane.
Dude, how haven't they made character models that look like Scooby-Doo yet? Like, come on.
Right. Like, surely Hanna-Barbera. I mean, then again, I mean...
That definitely happened in a game when we played one time where I'm like, okay, boys, I'm getting spooked. I think it's Old Man Jenkins. There was never a ghost here. Let's go back to the mystery machine.
Now...
That was the high school. I remember saying that, and then I got killed like 15 seconds later. And I just went to the bathroom. When I came back, I saw Nate was dead too. And I'm like, oh, cool, dog is going to die. He found us, so he did escape. So
Yeah,
good for you,
that's
dog.
because I've watched Cube 2 Hypercube.
Oh shit! I got someone that actually wants to play with us whenever we get done recording.
But the
Nice.
oh fuck, what was I about to say? What were we talking about right before the high school?
Fuck.
Yeah.
Character models.
There is a mod that you can get for the game that turns the van into it makes it look like the Mystery Machine.
Well, I know that you had your one of your mod things open while you were playing the game, and it yelled at you.
Oh, that's right.
That's
I
right.
had
yeah,
Wiimote open because that was the way that I had
Detective Wiimote.
originally became Cash Daddy Moneybanks. Right? Because it was like, I'm going to be honest. There were times when, and I won't point a finger because it was all of us at one point or another, would get annoyed when we would die and lose all of our shit.
Yeah.
Right? So I was like, let me nip that in the bud. And I gave myself a plethora of money and was like, I'm just going to fund everything. Now we can go out there and have fun. And correct me if I'm wrong, we enjoyed the game a hell of a lot more after that when we didn't have to worry about.
We did. I agree with that statement.
It was nice, and I feel like the new rebalance when they did the the hard reset, I haven't worried about money since then. So I do feel like you were onto something, that the money was imbalanced and you had a better time not being like, because like Nate was a financier a lot of the time, and then it like became this thing of like, Nate, should we preserve you or let you play the game? And neither way you were going to be happy, because either way you're going to think about the other thing, you know?
Yeah. So I didn't even have it like loading up for Phasmo. Wiimod was just open. I had been using it in WWE because, as stupid as this sounds, sometimes in my universe mode, I just want a squash match. So I have Wiimod running in the background. I hit a button that gives me unlimited finishers, and I just go in and hit my finisher 2 or 3 times. Pin 1, 2, 3, boom, squash match done. Turn it off. Go back to playing normal.
Yeah.
I roleplay like that when I'm playing WWE. But anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, I straight up tried to open Phasmo, and it said, "Hey, we detected Wiimod. You can't play this game if you have that open. Close it." And then the game just shuts off. And I'm like, oh.
Well, I'm glad it did that instead of just vac banning you or whatever.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, I'm glad they warned you where they're like, hey, just turn it off. Which, I would say I wonder if I could turn my internet off and then open up Phasmophobia and see if it would detect it like that. But Wiimod doesn't work unless you have an internet connection. So no more Mr. Moneybags. But like you said, it has definitely been rebalanced because I feel like certain items don't cost as much and things like that. So.
Have any of you guys ever tried joining a lobby that wasn't with friends?
I accidentally joined a public match during when I was trying to join you boys. And the people there were really, really sweet. And they were like, hey, how you doing, man? And I'm like, oh shit, I was trying to join a private match. I hope you guys have the best. So cheers, mate. Have a good evening. Because I think they were Irish. I think I actually accidentally grouped in with some Irish people.
I think it would be interesting.
I just wonder, because so many people are metagaming, and it wouldn't be the same as the experience we have together.
That's my biggest fear,
worry,
yeah.
The worry I have is just because of the equipment level thing. It's like, if I show up with all the tier 1 equipment but nothing else, I'm not necessarily going to be able to help someone that's level 1, but I'm going to be a hindrance to someone who's got like level 3 going everywhere.
Yeah.
I remember when we were first playing, someone came into our game and they were like really good at it and like really approached it from the angle of like, this is a video game. And they were really cool, really nice. But I remember after that, I was like thinking to myself, I don't think I want to play this game like that. I don't want to play this game.
Right.
Like, I want to play to win, but I don't want to like figure the game out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I want layers of abstraction between me and the game.
Yeah, for sure.
And for what it's worth, I think the game is more spooky since the hard reset. Like, I have not felt that confident. Like, I have not felt that SWAT team shit. We haven't gone to advanced difficulty on any levels yet. We literally were playing
intermediate. My
intermediate.
opinion on that, dude? I think it's because they upgraded their lighting. Lighting is huge in that game, and it is better now for sure.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
For
the
sure.
day that Phasmophobia introduces ray tracing, oh boy, if they ever do, that would be terrifying. What they could do with reflections and things like that. Oh,
Yeah.
Oh god, yeah. I'm just trying to imagine what the reflection of the dark mirror would look like.
Right.
Meanwhile, it's whispering backwards bullshit at you.
But the
I don't think there's ratings for this game. I think we already rated it, haven't we?
We have rated this game.
Okay.
Every single one of us, me, Dalton, and Willie, all rated this a 7.5 2 years ago, and Jeff gave it an 8.5.
Okay. Did you pull up that list, or did you look that up yourself?
I pulled up the list.
Hell yeah. I'm glad that exists.
You know what? I'm going to steal Jeff's answer because 2 years later, I am still enjoying this game. And I'm going to go ahead and bump it to an 8.5 because I've gotten dozens and dozens of hours of entertainment out of this game. It's a great one to play with friends. Mm-hmm. I love it as a social enterprise. I love it as a video game. It's awesome. I'm sorry, I jumped to ratings. I don't know if we had more to talk about. My bad.
I just had one story. And it had nothing to do with Phasmophobia. It was like one of those games like Devour, but it wasn't Devour. It was like one of the other ones. I was playing with Steph and Cody one day. 3 of us were playing. There were 4 people playing this game total. Like on Steam. The 4th person joins our game and Steph goes, I don't know who you are, bye, and kicks them. And I was like, Steph.
No!
Steph, we were the only game he could have joined. She's like, yeah, well, I don't like strangers. I'm like, all right, that's fair. But like, how does that make that person?
That's rude. That makes that game look bad too, because they're not going to blame her; they're going to blame the game.
Right? Yeah.
It's like this game's toxic and it has bad, and it's and toxic and dead. And you know what? That's because in their experience, the game was toxic and dead.
And it's funny because like I know she didn't mean it mean. That's she is just like a character, and I love her to death.
Yeah. I'm not trying to lecture her either. I'm just saying, like, bad. Yeah.
I don't know. It made me laugh. But yeah, we can go into ratings if you want, unless you boys got anything else you want to bring up.
I think that covers it for me. I think, like I said, it's still a good time.
Man, I only have one other thing to say, and that is you guys have got to teach me how to buy and add items, because the new system is like, I love a lot of the new things, but oh my God, I hate the tablet where you order the loadouts and shit. It's like, nope, too much.
That's the problem. Get out of loadout mode. I accidentally turned on loadout mode.
Yeah.
If you leave loadout mode, you can buy and add items separate. It's when you're in loadout mode that it gets weird.
Okay.
So when you see the main screen, there's like loadout, and then there's the one to the left of it.
You click that, and that's the store.
Okay.
And that's where you buy stuff from. And then you go to loadout, and I just click auto add, and it just throws what I have in there.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
We didn't even touch on that. Yeah, they changed that completely, like that screen. And they
to be fair,
but I do love that it gives you the preview of the.
But to be fair, that screen was bad in the first iteration of the game too.
Yeah,
it was. Yes.
Yeah,
it was bad, but it was something straightforward. Like you knew what you were adding.
We talked about Door Girl. She's gone. Rafter Man is also gone.
Yep.
Oh,
but
rip.
Last time we played, I did discover if you walk over to the door and you look into the door, and I think I can only see her because I have my brightness turned up. But I think it's if you're shining the purple flashlight in there, the UV light, if you look in the door window and then turn to the right and look over there, there's just some chick standing there just shaking violently and super creepy.
That's just Stacy.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I heard her mom's got it going on. And, dude, Dave, when you were like, I need you guys to teach me how to, I almost went, Dougie? Why? Because all the bitches love me. Oh, man. But, okay, then rating.
I wouldn't jump the gun on mine, so I'll just go ahead and mail mine in. 8.5. Jeff was right. This game did hold the test of time. That's what I was worried about. And nope, it sure is still super fun to play it. I'll probably be playing it 2 years from now. And they fixed a lot of the jank I was worried about. And they made it a more fun progression experience. Like, they've done a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's almost like Ghost Hunter RPG now. I really like the progression element to it. I really, really enjoy the new graphics set or whatever they did to upgrade. Mm-hmm. It looks phenomenal. The lighting is phenomenal. This game's always had good sound. And the fact that they're still updating it, they haven't abandoned this game, even though like it's not nearly as popular as it once was on like Twitch and YouTube and things like that. But like they're still holding strong, and it's still got a strong player base. That says something.
Yeah.
So I think I'm going to agree. I'm going to give it an 8.5 as well.
Fair. Yeah, and retrospectively looking back, it's hard not to immediately bump this game up a full point from what we did 2 years ago, just because of the developers' constant progression in the game, constantly making this game better, making minor and major improvements over the last 2 years. I really respect when they do that, and I know this game is, I think, still technically in early access, like 2 years later. Like, y'all crazy. Another testament to this game is now my second most played game on Steam. Like, it's
Wow.
What's
it
number
passed
one?
Dragon Quest XI. Number one is Brawlhalla now.
Oh,
Yeah, so
Holy
it is my
shit.
second most played game on Steam with 115 hours. So
It is my third most played game at 93.4.
yeah. So I think this game is standing the test of time, at least for a few more years. Like, I will be playing this next October, and the October after that almost guaranteed. I will go ahead and agree entirely and give this game an 8.5 Urais out of 10 demons. Dave, what do you think, man?
I love this game. I think it's fantastic. I also think it's really important to mention that this game is $14. This game is
yeah, that's huge.
it's a value. I mean, considering how many like hours, you guys are talking about how much time you have in the game, and it's like I'm the baby in the group and have like 86 hours played, and it's like I definitely feel like I got my $14 worth. That's not to say that a value of a game is based solely on how much time you can spend in it, but I consider the time that I spent with it quality time. Like, I mean, it's, even though I know, like, we were talking about the progression kind of feeling like an RPG, and that's kind of grindy. It doesn't feel like it to me, I mean, it feels fresh, and,
It feels like you survived and you got rewarded for it.
right. Yeah, exactly. It's not boring, it's not we're going through the motions on this.
You didn't hold the A button down to kill 3 imps and 1 yellow imp.
Right, exactly. Maybe when we get palette swapped Urais, maybe I'll hang it up. But until then, man, I think this game is great. I mean, I totally agree with an 8.5. I mean, I would give it higher, but I also know that this game isn't for everybody. Like, I know there are people who have played it and they're just like, yeah, I just don't like games like this. And it's like, they don't like scary games. And if you don't like scary games, then, I mean, that's Phasmo's bread and butter.
Yeah.
I just checked my Steam hours and this is my 5th most played game, not counting idle games. After Brawlhalla, Rocket League, Team Fortress 2, and Kerbal Space Program. But ahead of Yakuza 0 and Dragon Quest XI.
So I would like to make a slight correction. I had that little button hit on Steam where it was only showing me games that I had installed. Phasmophobia is the 3rd most played game that I have installed. It is like 7, 14, 15, 16, 17. It's 18th, actually, in playtime. Right behind Yakuza 0. And then after that, it's just a bunch of RPGs and wrestling games and idle games.
Yeah.
You know me.
Yep, that sounds about right.
Well, do we want to talk about, do fan questions, then talk about next episode?
Yep.
All right.
All right, let's move into the mailbag. Our first question comes in from our Lord and Savior from 2 years ago, Jeffy Lube, Mr. Syllables himself. He wants to know, was there an axe?
I saw someone with I thought had a baseball bat at one point.
I definitely saw an axe in one of the cabins that I picked up for a second and put back down.
That is true. Yeah.
I'm not sure if any of the ghosts that we ran into had an axe, but yeah, there were definitely axes in the levels.
Yeah. But good callback, Jeff. Appreciate it. Next question comes in from Kana. Today, I learned there is an anime con in Mesa called UwuCon. What con would you attend if you could?
Oh, man. I've never been to a con. So, I mean, I think it would be cool to go to one like in y'all's neck of the woods so I could like meet up with you guys. What is it, Dragon Con?
You should go to Louisville Arcade Expo.
Or that?
Yeah, I went to a con once with Paul Korn. I think it was I don't know what it was called, honestly. It's the one here in Middle Tennessee. Went with him 1 year to that. cons aren't generally my thing, but I would like to go to Louisville Arcade Expo next time they do that with the TADPOG group, because the one year I went, had a lot of fun.
Yeah. I think if I know you're going for ones based on names, Kana, and I just wanted to say I do appreciate that the one in Ohio is called Ohio Con, but like Ohio, like Japanese for good morning. That's very
I do like that one a lot too.
But yeah, I think it would be Gen Con in Indianapolis. That's like one of the main board game and traditional game ones, and I think I could learn a lot.
Yep, same. I haven't been to a Gen Con yet. I'm in a group. We've been playing like some indie RPGs, tabletop RPGs for like years together now. And I met a couple of them at a Dragon Con. I used to go to Dragon Con a lot. But they were talking about meeting up at Gen Con, and I hope I can make that work, because I've wanted to go to Gen Con for a while. So I'm with you on that, Willie.
It just feels like a big major.
I don't think it's a con, but I always hear Metal Jesus talk about it, so it's like something that I would love to go to. Is Portland Retro Gaming Expo.
Yeah, same.
Always looks awesome.
I've heard about that one a lot. Yeah, it's not, and it's Metal Jesus talks about it, and like John Riggs talks about it. There are a bunch of people. There are a bunch of people in the retro gaming community that like always bring that up.
Yeah,
it sounds like a good time.
I just want to go.
It's too far away.
Oh yeah, super other side of the country.
Yeah,
the other corner of the country from me, diagonally.
Right. Yeah.
That's why, like, I think that Louisville Expo works so well for the TADPOG prom. It's just like most people in the TADPOG community can at least get somewhere near there.
Right.
I just want to smoke a joint with Radical Reggie, because like of all the times I've watched pickup videos of him and Metal Jesus talking about the new games they've got and everything, at least half of them, his eyes are redder than the devil's dick, and he's just like grinning, like, yeah. So, and there was an episode they did where he was wearing a shirt that had Mario and Luigi on it, but their eyes were just redder than the devil's dick. So I was like, all right, I know what's up with this dude. I know that grin, that shit-eating grin that you have. You are feeling good right now.
Nice.
But yeah, I think that'd be fun.
Nice.
But of course, like if I want to go to one of those types of places, I want some money.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to go in looking for big box PC stuff. And that's not that's not going to be pretty.
Yeah. I do definitely like to spend money when I go to things. Like I remember I went to the Louisville Arcade Expo a few years ago, and I bought a couple of like cutting boards that had like Donkey Kong and Donkey Kong Jr. on them.
Hell yeah.
That's right. And then you went online and priced Donkey Kong Jr. back, and you're like,
bought that game. I wish I bought that game when I priced it back then, because it's gone way up since then.
Was it like
no, it's like
$2,000
$180, I think.
Still way more than it's worth for a game that's
it's
entirely
man. All right, our next one is also from Kana, who asks, "What's your favorite Halloween candy?"
Reese's Cups next.
I mean, it's hard to argue that. I was going to say the Reese's Pumpkins, because like I like the ratio of peanut butter to chocolate more in those. Like the holiday Reese's have a better peanut butter to chocolate ratio, in my opinion. Like the Christmas trees, the Easter eggs, and the pumpkins.
That's so true.
Yeah, the Christmas trees are the shit.
I
So I'm going to go with the
That's
pumpkin
true.
Reese's.
I went A tier and you went S tier. It's all good.
Man, it's hard to argue that. But I love Butterfinger. It's like the little snack-sized Butterfingers. I can just pop one of those in my mouth and enjoy it, and then not feel bad about eating an entire king-sized Butterfinger, because I will.
A Butterfinger,
an entire.
I feel like a Butterfinger is one of the hardest candy bars to eat, because like,
yeah, I was gonna say I feel that way about a fun-sized Snickers. Give me a B+ fun-sized Snickers, and I'm happy. I'll eat one of
the
those.
thing about Butterfingers, man, is that like I don't know what you call the shit in the middle, because it's not peanut butter, it's something.
I think it's peanut butter toffee.
Well, that gets stuck in your teeth and does not leave for like 6 hours.
Bro, yeah, and then you can just lick it every now and then and get a taste. That's like saving some for later.
This man eats corn for the future.
That reminded me of a joke. I'm not going to tell the joke, but I'm going to tell the punchline. Man, this buttered corn's great.
Okay.
Country girls make
Google
do.
that, kids.
I'm not going to.
I'm not going to.
Jinx. Dave, what's your favorite Halloween candy, bud?
Man, I feel like this is gonna be like a bad pick in a lot of people's eyes, but I like a crackle, and the reason I like a crackle is because I never buy a crackle, and it's like it's just a it's just a small, like those mini bars, and it's like, oh, a crackle, oh yeah, this is pretty good, but I would never buy it.
Yeah, you would never think, I want some Rice Krispies in my chocolate bar. Like, that's never going to sell it to you. But you're like, I'll take a bite of that. Oh,
like,
that's nice.
Yeah, like, I'm not going to eat a king-size bar of it. But
Like, that's why I love fun-size candies, because, like, whoever goes out of their way to get a Mr. Good bar, but you get one of those mini Mr. Good bars, you're like, hell yeah.
I am one of the weirdos that I will go out of my way to get a Mr. Good bar. Dude, they're so good.
They are good. So good. I agree.
And I think it's because they're Mars and not Hershey, if I remember correctly.
Not sure, but yeah, those are good. All right, this next one is from Jeff. One more shout out. Just one more shout out. Yeah, bro.
To Payday. Like people don't give Payday enough love.
Payday. Oh, Payday's good. Dude, I love a Payday.
Paydays bomb.
Yeah,
so good.
Paydays bomb.
That is all.
all right. So the next one is from our buddy Jeff as well. What was your favorite Halloween costume?
The one I remember the most was when I was a kid, I went as Jim Carrey's Riddler from Batman Forever.
Nice.
And that is my favorite Halloween costume I ever did. Mm-hmm. I remember I had a little staff for it. I had like a stretchy question mark, spandexy green outfit. That is literally the only Halloween costume I distinctly remember.
And who was I that year? Because I think we were thematically together, weren't we?
We may have, because we did do some thematic ones together, too, because there's one other one I can think that we did as a theme, too, which you're also probably thinking. No. We went to Kentucky Kingdom one year as Sting in the Ultimate Warrior.
That was a good one. I was Red-Face NWO Wolfpack Sting.
Yeah, and I was the Ultimate Warrior, and then I was still afraid to ride on the roller coaster upside down versions. And I was like, would the Ultimate Warrior get on this ride? I'm 13, I don't know.
That's hilarious.
No, he would talk about this dexterity and then shoot his dick full of steroids.
Yeah, I didn't realize that the Ultimate Warrior sucked when I was 13.
Well, yeah, of course.
Yeah, the one that I really remember sticking out to me is because of a memory of something that happened while I was wearing this costume. And I'm surprised that I was allowed to wear this costume as a Christian religious child, but I literally went for Halloween one year as Satan. Like, nice. I had my face painted red, had the devil mustache and goatee, and the horns, and had a trident, or pitchfork, I guess is the right word. I'm not fucking Poseidon here.
What Nate is leaving out, though, is that he was the devil from Cow and Chicken, so he also had a big, voluptuous red ass.
I mean, I still have that. But what I remember...
He's not wrong.
What I remember about this is, like, we were trick-or-treating in our grandparents' neighborhood, and I was walking down the street going to the next house and getting my candy, and this little girl looks at me and is like, it's the devil! And it was just so fucking funny, because, like, I couldn't have been more than, like, 7 or 8 years old in this costume.
I think you were the devil the same year I was a Dracula, too, so I guess for 1 year they let us go super scary.
So...
Because I definitely remember our haul that year. Because I remember going back to our grandparents' house and just pouring up like full bags full of shit. And then looking in the closet and playing the Rummy Cube board game, which I don't even remember how it was played, but it had those cool little moves on some of the tiles.
So I have two. One, I don't really remember much about it, but I remember the costume itself. When I was a kid, I dressed up as the Blue Ranger.
Nice.
I had this like weird rubber that smelled weird when you wore it, blue Power Ranger helmet thing.
I remember those kind of masks. Oh yeah.
I had the get up that was like the shirt and the cloth pants that looked like the Power Ranger thing. And then I had the gloves that had the little buttons that in the palm that if you pressed them, it went, "It's morphin' time." And like, you know, all that. So
nice.
I was Blue Ranger. I was badass, right?
Nice.
Then when I was older, when I got older, I went to a Halloween party at my buddy Wes's house, and it's more for the story that I enjoyed this costume. I painted my face like not. Let me rephrase this. I didn't go blackface, but I painted black around my eyes and my mouth, like dark solid black, to to cover it. And then I used to have it. I tore it apart actually for a vocal cover of Vermilion by Slipknot because it was a Slipknot mask. I had Sean Crahan, Clown from Slipknot's like a rubber version of his mask. So I put that on over it. So think Kane, but in a clown mask. So I had that, and then I put on this black sweater that I had and these black pants, and I just went to this party as a creepy dead clown looking thing, and I didn't talk to anybody. I would just creepily glare at them. And man, when I tell you that does a lot for girls, and I don't know why. Like, I give yourself an air of mystery, I suppose. And I got the...
Ladies, imagine meeting a group of
Fair enough. But yeah, that was a great night.
Nice. What about you, Dave? What's your favorite costume?
Man, we've got, weirdly enough, in the small town I live in, we have an awesome costume shop. Like, it's amazing. And they've got a lot of, like, quality costumes, and sometimes I like to go in there and just kind of look around. They've got so my favorite costume is one time, it's kind of expensive, but in high school I rented like Obi-Wan's robes, and this is probably freshman year in high school, and it's like I didn't do anything. I was like, it's Halloween, and we've got this store here in town that's awesome. I'm just gonna go ahead and rent this, and then
Nice, love that,
dude. I would I hoped you like went home and watched Star Wars sitting in the Jedi robes. That'd have been sweet.
Oh, you know I did.
Fuck yeah.
Hell yeah.
VHS, baby.
Like, I wish I had a lightsaber. Wait a minute. Now I have one.
All right. Next one is also from our buddy Jeff. What video game had the best Halloween theme?
Do you mean theme as in like music or like?
I'm thinking just like a themed Halloween like level in a game, like anything kind of like that spooky theme. Like the one that comes to mind for me is like my favorite level in Mario Kart 8, which is the Twisted Mansion, because like the Haunted Mansion is my favorite ride at Disney World, like always has been, always will be. And this just gives out big Haunted Mansion vibes. I love that level a lot.
Have you ever played the Haunted Mansion game?
Luigi's on?
No. There was a Disney's Haunted Mansion game that came out. PS2, PS3, somewhere around in there. Some in that era.
No.
Yeah. I don't remember if it was any good, but I know it existed.
All right.
I have two. I always do this, but I have two answers in there for different reasons. One, Jersey Devil, PlayStation 1. We already talked about this at some point during this episode.
You won't shut the fuck up about Jersey Devil today.
You're a kid in a costume running around during Halloween trying to collect these things, pumpkins and things like that. So I mean, it's got the vibe.
Yeah.
But then also like Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2, going to Halloween Town.
Yeah, dude, that's a great answer.
Just going and chilling with Jack and that weird ass mayor that I can still remember this vivid nightmare I had about, and weird. He was trying to rape me in my dream.
Oh,
yeah,
no.
dude, it was literally, it was one of those dreams. You ever woke up from a dream sweating, scared? Is that just a me thing?
I wake up from most days like that. Like, oh no, I'm conscious.
What about you guys? Dave, Willie?
This is kind of cheating, but like the first thing that came to mind is Monster Party. For the NES.
Nice.
I mean, I know it's the whole thing is like a Halloween type game, but I mean that game is so fucking weird and totally like, I don't know. For me, it hits the Halloween vibes because it's weird. It's not just a scary game. It's like it's weird and
profoundly strange.
Yes, profoundly strange is a really good way of putting it. It is. It's just weird. It's got Halloween vibes.
No, like I remember playing that game and streaming it, beating it for the first time ever. Like I'd played it as a kid, but I never beat it. And I streamed it one time through the end. It was like, this game is freaking weird. Like there's a fried shrimp coming after me right now. What is happening?
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck? And Willie, you don't have one? No.
I couldn't think
Fair
of
enough,
anything,
man.
actually.
All right, and our next one is from Adam. Have you ever been somewhere you thought was haunted? Or if not, where would you spend the night in somewhere that was haunted for an undisclosed amount of money? So I had a good buddy back in middle school through high school whose dad worked as security at the Waverly Hills Sanatorium during the Halloween season. Yeah. So I'd actually been able to go into the non-haunted house, but the actual part of the Waverly Hills Sanatorium, like the body chute and all that stuff. And it's like, it was a really interesting place to tour. And like, whenever I go on a little trip with my wife, a lot of times we will take like the haunted tour of that town. So like I've been in a bunch of places in St. Augustine, Florida that are supposedly haunted. So like,
there's a lot, bro.
Yeah, there are. Like I love St. Augustine. Like that's just one of those silly things we do. We've done it in like Chattanooga. We've done it in St. Augustine. We might have done it in Boston. I can't remember if we did or not. But like it's just one of those stupid things. It's like we like to do that we don't really think too much about. Like we don't really think we're going to see a ghost or whatever, but it's just fun to see the haunted history of places.
And it's funny that you bring up St. Augustine because that also leads into like my answer, which I have been in places that are said that, that are said to be haunted. One specifically being the fort in St. Augustine. Like many people died in that thing over the years. Like there is soil somewhere down there soaked in blood from war. And that's just wild to me. Right. Yeah. And they say, if you're out there, I don't remember if it's when the sun sets or right as the sun rises that you can see soldiers on the edge of there looking out at the ocean, like, and looking like they're preparing for battle, like they see ships coming in.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm sure that's a myth, but holy fuck, if I were to see that, I would flip shit. So I would stay in the fort at St. Augustine, and I'll sleep in one of those weird jail cells that they have, like the fake, quote, I think fake skeleton. It might be just some dude who's been dead in that room for a while. They're like, we'll leave this locked and we'll just put a peephole. People can look at him. We won't disturb the dead. I don't know. St. Augustine's weird like that. They have these graveyards that people were buried 1700s, 1600s, 1800s. But because the general population of people suck, you can't go in those graveyards. You're not allowed. You can only look at them over these like big metal fence things. But like, dude, I want to appreciate the history. I want to like read this person died 300 years ago. Yeah. Like someone lived in this town that we're in right now 300 years ago, 400 years ago. That's wild to me.
Yeah, because St. Augustine's one of the oldest settlements, like from Europe to the United States, from Spain.
Spanish.
Yeah, like St. Augustine is a really interesting town.
And I'm a history buff. I love history. So like going there and I'm looking at these buildings that are like the little plaque on the walls like, hey, this is how this was built. They kind of just rock, splush. Because some of those buildings, it's like it's not uniform at all.
Yeah.
You've been there. You know what I'm talking about, where it's like one rock will be super big and it'll have 3 smaller rocks underneath it. And then like 2 bigger rocks. And then it's just, but it works.
Yeah.
The fucker's still standing.
Through however many hurricanes have gone through Florida.
And wars and all kinds of shit that's rolled through there over the years. It's fucking crazy, dude. I wonder if the natives that lived there, like when those guys showed up, they were like, I bet that's the Spanish Inquisition.
Never expect it.
But of course they didn't, because no one expects the Spanish Inquisition. Anyway, that's my answer.
When I was like late teens or early 20s, I did form a little ghost hunter group that investigated. We were going to I put together a big old, I looked up, did a bunch of research on local sites that were supposed to be haunted. We went to one of them, and so many of the people got freaked out after what happened the next day that half of them quit, and we just never reformed.
What happened the next day?
Random shit, apparently. Like, everyone called back and said they ran it, something spooky followed them home, basically. And everyone's story was a little bit different. But it wasn't even one of the main ones. Like, it wasn't like fucking, it wasn't Waverly Hill Sanatorium or anything. It was like a graveyard near Jefferson Forest. That was it. The people just had some spooky times the next day. Maybe they scared themselves out of it, but either way, like, we just didn't do another one.
About you, Dave?
As a kid, I remember going to St. Augustine. I remember the fort, and I remember like the ghost stories and stuff. I've always wanted to go to Waverly, especially because it's so nearby where I live, and it's also like famous. You know what I mean? It's like if you were to like go to Google and type in most haunted location, like Waverly is gonna show up on like every top 10 list, I feel like. But what I would really like to do, what I think would be really scarier than like Waverly, because I just think Waverly would be cool. But like to do something actually scary, I think is to go to like a haunted location in Japan, where it's like you're not only dealing with.
Okay, Logan Paul, settle down.
Well, but you're not only dealing with like you're dealing with a haunted location and culture shock simultaneously, and
I thought you were going to go to the Paris catacombs. That's exactly where I thought you were headed there.
Oh, that would be cool too. I mean, I don't know. That's kind of more. I don't know. What I like about like Japanese ghost stories is like they almost all like involve a curse of some kind, you know?
Yeah.
And
They're
that's
very specific too.
Right, exactly. And I think that's really neat because it's like even if you don't necessarily believe in ghosts, there's still like this, I don't know, this level of danger going to this location, you know? I don't know. I think that's really neat. And like a lot of those like haunted tunnels and stuff, like those old abandoned tunnels in Japan, those are probably like some of the creepiest to think about.
Yeah. And while we're on the subject of like foreign places being super scary, I think I gave a shout out to this movie 2 years ago when we did an episode on Phasmophobia. But if you would like to watch a movie that is foreign, terrifying, and is also basically Phasmophobia, the movie, it's called Ganjam Haunted Asylum.
Mm-hmm. I remember you talking about that.
Dave, you watched that too, didn't you?
Yeah, it's great. I watched it on your recommendation, and I loved it. I thought it was fantastic.
Didn't you say it had like somebody from Squid Game in it?
Squid Game. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the like pretty smart guy. Smart guy. I don't remember I don't remember all the names in Squid Game because again they were all four. But yeah, he was definitely in that.
Nice.
And it's a great time, dude. And I would love to see more horror come out of places like St. Augustine and things like that as far as like games go. Like we played that one free game.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that was about St. Augustine, and that was awesome.
That was one of the best free games we've played.
That one was really good, yeah.
Give me a AAA game, or even a AA game, I don't care, that is like horror themed, and maybe you're a detective and you're trying to solve this mystery, but you have to, quote, peek back in time, but the location is St. Augustine, so like you would go into these parts and then it would port you back to St. Augustine, say in 1700s or 1800s. And maybe that there was
neat. Kind of Assassin's
maybe there's
Creed.
like a Jack the Ripper-esque person that you could make up, you know, for artistic, whatever the fuck they call it. And yeah, I just think that there's so many avenues that it could be done with places like that, or like that Waverly. Like it makes me think of Waverly Place. The Wizards of Waverly Place, and it's haunted. But yeah, like do a fucking game based in that, where there's just some shit going on and suddenly things go, hey, like there are so many opportunities, but I don't know how legality comes in with using real locations. Does that make sense? Like, I don't know. It's a gray area for me.
Well, you could always make a fictionalized version of a location. After all, isn't the first Silent Hill game heavily based on Centralia, Pennsylvania?
Yeah, you're right.
Like, you could make a heavily fictionalized version of Waverly Hills Sanatorium or anything in St. Augustine.
I wish I was better at drawing and design, because there's been times I've been driving through Keystone and I just start imagining, like, what would this, because the way some of the trees, you know, like trees will grow over the road and shit. I'm like, what would this look like if these trees were like
fucking
mushroomy and like bioluminescent and like fairy-ish looking? Like, what if this was like a fairy forest I was driving through and things like that? I'm like, could be cool, because you could use the layout of the town but then design something completely fantasy about it.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. There's so many ideas that'd be cool. I think, is that the end of the questions?
That is
any more?
That is the end.
Oh, shit. All right. Well, next episode we're doing, gentlemen, is the freebies. Is the freebie games. I know, Nate, you've looked at some on itch. I have looked at some also on itch. I believe some of ours crossed over. The one that I would ask of you guys to absolutely play, and I will send it to you if I haven't already, is someone remade PT in the Unreal Engine. Now, I've played PT. Everyone's heard me talk about that. Dave, did you ever get to play PT when it was on PS4?
Man, I wish. No, I missed out on that, and highly regret it.
Okay, well, I will send you this rare file if you would like then too, because somebody went in and recreated the whole thing in Unreal to the point that I loaded into the game, and I'm sitting in the room you start in, and I'm like, wow, this looks really good. They did a good job. And I open that door, and I see that hallway, and like PTSD kicking in, I immediately was filled with dread and anxiety.
If it's remade in the Unreal Engine, shouldn't it be PT HD?
Yes. Actually, I think it was almost slightly grainy like it would have looked on PS4. But either way, I did one loop. I walked around the loop one time and got back into the room and went in the second time and just went, fuck this. Fuck, I can't do it. Fuck this. And I quit out. I was like, nope. Still as scary as I remember it, because there's something, it's liminally horror. Because you're wandering through this hallway, but there's just always something off about the hallway. There's major audio things going on. There's other stuff that I won't get into. I want you guys to see for yourself. And it's like, I can't. Sure. It's the
don't spoil it. Let's just jump into it, baby.
The only
Let's
game
do it
that has ever made me and my friends flip a couch
list.
because all three of us jumped at the same time, and it straight flipped this couch backwards. Well, love seat. Three of us want a love seat, but still.
Three guys sitting on a love seat.
Yeah. This seat's for two, but I can fit three.
Now do it in your Duke Nukem voice.
Wait, that's the Terminator, not the Duke Nukem.
This can fit two, or no, but I can fit three. I can see my dick from up here. Yeah, Cusco's poison. Two dicks. Oh, Jesus. But yeah, free games. Gotta do some PT. I guess that just leaves house cleaning, I suppose. But first, before we get into that, before we plug our shit, we should let our guest plug his shit. So, Dave, tell everybody where they can find you, find the podcast, and that sort of thing, my good sir. And thank you very much for joining us.
Yo, thanks for the invite. This was a lot of fun. I was looking forward to this. I'm glad we got to do it. I love, like I said earlier, I love the show, and I love you guys. And I think this is all great. I love playing Phasmophobia with you guys. It rules. So thank you so much for having me on.
Hey, man, it's been a pleasure.
Our pleasure.
Absolutely. Welcome anytime, man.
We won't be done playing with you now.
Checks in the mail, Dave.
Dave, come out and play.
I'm going to play this Halloween update with you guys whenever
Definitely.
we can.
Oh yeah,
I'm looking forward to checking that
this
out.
weekend for sure.
Yeah, that would be awesome. I've been doing a podcast with my friend Tyler and Ian, two friends. We've been doing a podcast together that started almost 11 years ago, called TADPOG. Tyler and Dave play old games. We focus on Super Nintendo games, but like when I say we don't really focus on anything. So
Severe ADHD going on.
Yeah, go ahead, Willie.
I was going to say, yeah, they'll talk about Waterworld for 3 hours, but only about 30 minutes is about the game Waterworld.
Yep. Yeah, we're kind of all over the place, and that's kind of, I don't know.
It rolls.
That's kind of
it's so fun.
We have fun with it. So if you want to check it out, you go find it wherever podcasts are.
That's TADPOG, Tyler and Dave Play Old Game, which it bears to saying that is how the three of us met. Well, not me and Willie, obviously we're brothers, but that's how we met Dalton, because we were all active community members over there, and all just came together like that.
Yeah, Tadpog community is really cool. I've met a lot of cool friends from that. Like, Nate's become Game Bud Prime in their Discord. So when we talk about Game Buds, that we're talking about Dave's podcast community where we play a lot of games weekly. Like, it's super cool. Definitely listen to them. Go check out their Discord if you like them. They fucking rule.
Honestly, in a weird way, if not for Tadpog, Steam Machine might be dead because when Ryan left the show and it was just me, I guarantee you this show would not still be going if it would have still just been me. So I can thank Tadpog for that because I met my hosts from there, my co-hosts and stuff. So yeah, man, it's a good show. Go check it out, and it's funny if you like.
If you like us, they're way better than us.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a similar show, but better.
If you like really crass,
And my co-hosts are funnier than me, so I mean, if you were listening to this and you're like, this guy fucking sucks, come check it out for Ian and Tyler.
Word up, man. But yeah, go check him out. So that leaves.
I just nodded my head like, yeah, he sucks. This guy's funny.
Piece of shit. Dies from a Uray every time. This guy.
Somebody get the B gun. If you would like to leave us a 5-star review on iTunes, that would be wonderful, or a thumbs up, or whatever the hell they do over on Spotify. Give us one of those as well. I used to plug the social medias here, but I honestly don't use them all that much anymore. So if you would like to just join the Discord, which is where all the fun shit happens, bit.ly/TSMP Discord, all capital letters. We'll get you a link into the Discord. Come join and vote. Speaking of votes, we haven't checked in on this for all of October that I know of. So let's see if anything's changed. The fan-picked poll, Mega Dimension Neptunia V2 is still ahead, and I am still in shock. Out of all those other games, how Mortal Kombat's not winning? Now, don't get me wrong. I am thrilled that a Neptunia game is finally winning a poll. But I thought for sure Mortal Kombat would win that. But, so then we got the short game poll. And that is, by a landslide, Far Cry Blood Dragon. And I mean a serious landslide. And then the retro game vote poll, like we said earlier, Supernova's Arc 3D. Still sitting happy at the top. So join the Discord, bit.ly/TSMP Discord. Come make your vote heard and just chat with us, man. We're cool. We're hip. If you would like a link to the website, it's bit.ly/The Steam Machine Podcast. Just capitalize that phonetically. It is now up to date thanks to Dane. Shout out to Dane. He is the man. If you would like to help me keep the lights on, patreon.com/The Steam Machine Podcast. With a extra special shout out to people who donate $10 or more to us because they like us or because they hate us so much that they give us money to hope that we will buy something that will then kill us. Nate's Cogsworth, the 7th of June-iper, Jeff, the original Expendable, Mr. Syllables, old Jeffy Lube himself, Ariesoradam, shout out to his podcast, Revival and Extinction, James, the Steam Machine, Home on the Hall, Team Retrogue, go check him out on YouTube, Mr. Puzzles, Dane himself, and Chad, the Mad Lad, no goddamn C in his last name, Shaffer. Shout out to YavsPod, yet another BS podcast, a sometimes podcast these days that me and my buddy Jeremy do, and we shoot the shit. Shout out to the JRPG Report, where me and Mikolov from Team Retrogue cover all the recent JRPG news. And if you want a shirt, tsmpproductions.threadless.com. Go check it out. Oh, and I released an album recently, nilethenightmare.bandcamp.com. Thank you very much. Go check that out. Other than that, again, just leave us a 5-star review, man. That would be nice. Helps us in those analytics or whatever the fucking weird shit's going on behind the scenes at YouTube and Spotify and all that jazz. Boys, you got anything that you would like to plug?
I'm good to go, brother.
I would like, just for the sake of fun. Dave, do you have anything?
You plug Tadpog, my guy.
Yep.
Yeah, you already got his plug. In that case, I would just like to plug Tadpog again by letting Dave lead us in a hell yeah, so we can do the traditional hell yeah of the Tadpoglodites.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. Or as we say around these parts, raise hell, praise Dale.
Raise hell, praise Dale.
Raise hell,
Raise
praise
hell, praise
Dale.
Dale.
And on that note, everyone, we will see you on the next episode. So just fair warning, our next episode is going to be weekly. And then after that, we're back to bi-weekly. Spooktober is over and things will go back to normal. And before you know it, the Steamy Awards will be here.
I do everything bi-weekly. Later, nerds.
For the Destructo Bros, thank you, Dave, again for joining us. And as always, everybody, take it easy.